like you know me. There's 100 ways to tell you no, another 100 more to let you go, go, go. Where were you when I was lonely? You never saw me when you called me. I ain't gonna listen anymore. If you never want me when I'm low, only. Where were you when I was
flames. Don't stop tomorrow's
to trip you up. You know right now how to be enough. Just keep moving. Figure it out, but don't stop moving. Go, go, go. Figure it out, figure it out. You can do this. So my love, keep on running. We gotta get through today. Yeah, my love, keep on running. Gotta keep those tears at bay. Oh, my love, don't stop running. Gotta send them up in flames. In flames. In flames. In flames. Go, go, go. Figure it out. Figure it out. But don't stop moving. Go, go, go. Figure it out. Figure it out. You can do this. Oh, my love, keep on running. We gotta get through today. 지금 어디야? Shopping spree in Tokyo. Wake up in my private jet. 매일 아침 터트려. Lifting cars in Macau. 내가 최저나가. Stop blowing up my phone. They won't you hit me up on Kakao. Diamonds in my grill. Ain't now my new guy. Skin tone 2 carats gold I got in Dubai. My boys won't hesitate to run up on your boys. My boys won't hesitate to run up on your boys. 엉덩이 빵빵빵. 남자들은 탐탐탐. 네 입술 냠냠냠. 어디 가든 짠짠짠. 두는 차는 짜짜짜. 투자 투자 빵빵빵. Disco 빵빵빵. Hello bitches. That's a karaoke hall. Yellow gold in its glow like a yellow bone. Couldn't see me with a selfie from my telephone. Got hella dough, Hello Kitty, getting hella old. Want me to love them long time, and I tell them no. Sake to soju, Nagasaki to so you can find me in Shanghai. You know what them shots of I do. Got these Asian girls dancing on the couches, yeah they know me and they singing every word like they was sexy karaoke. 나 지금 어디야? Shopping spree in Tokyo. Wake up in my private jet. 매일 아침 터트려. Lifting cars in Macau. 내가 최저나가. Stop blowing up my phone. They won't you hit me up on Kakao. Diamonds in my grill. Ain't now my new guy. Skin tone 2 carats gold I got in Dubai. My boys won't
So you better start running. So you better start running. Yeah. So you better start running. So you better start. So you better start. 'Cause there's only one king. Right now.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the APL Season 1. The world is watching, and so are you. You made a good choice, because we are coming back with the first day of the round of 36.
That's right, Rapid. Today is a round robin, the beginning of it. We're going to see groups A and B square off with some of the big names in Korean PUBG, like C9 and OGN enters Ace today. Very exciting matches.
That's right, very strong teams, and because we've mixed things up for the round of 36, teams will be playing against different rosters than they are used to. So we had our first two groups, Group A and B, and then of course, now that we're coalescing everything to the round of 36, teams are going to have to deal with a lot of different challenges.
Yeah, exactly. This is something we talked about on the very first cast we did for this tournament, that the word that I would most associate with the APL is versatility, right? You have to play in different group stages. We have a round of 48, a round of 36, and then some of those teams after the round of 36 will go to the final or to a wild card playoff where they can qualify for the finals later. So not only that, but we have 4 different maps. We have FPP Miramar, TPP Miramar, and then 2 TPP on Erangel. So these players have to adapt a lot in this tournament.
That's true, and now they have to adapt to those different teams. You can see the teams on your screen. Now, this is a look at the finalists from our round of 48 matches that you got a chance to see not yesterday, but Friday. Our final standings here from that last round of 48 matchup with KSV Class up top, and then C9 PUBG KR down at the bottom. But the bigger things to focus on are the teams that made it out of that group, which you can see on the right-hand side of your screen. And if you look way down there towards the bottom, you might notice Team OB, who will be replacing OGN Entis Force, who unfortunately had a penalty after the final round on Friday and lost 300 points. That put them 45 points below Team OB, who just by the narrowest razor's edge now make it into our round of 36.
Right, that's the difference of 5 kills. So unfortunate for Entis Force, but OB gets a chance to show that maybe they can do a little better than they did in the group stage. We saw shock us in the first day of Group A with 39 kills and an impressive performance. So I'm looking to see if we'll see them again today. Maybe they'll do well. But today is A and B. Day 2, next on Friday, is A and C, and then next Monday is B and C. Then the top 16 teams go to the finals. Another 20 teams go to a wild card playoff where 8 teams out of those 20 will qualify for the finals.
Right, and so the big thing to take away from the round of 36 is that this is where we divide our teams. We'll do 3 days of 2 of the 3 groups playing each other in a round-robin style, and the teams that place highest will advance directly to the finals. So you really want to win right here, because if you don't, you go down into the wild card, and I think only 6 teams make it out of that. So
I think it's 8.
8 teams, that's right, make it out of that. So 20 teams enter, 8 teams advance, and you don't want to have that kind of pressure in order to make it into the grand finals. So without further ado, let's go ahead and head over to our hostess, Lee Hyung Kyung, and get an interview with 3 of the players from our team. So let's go ahead and welcome Jugang, and this is from Media Bridge Red. So hello, welcome. So as a representative of your team, you're going to be interviewed here. Tell us about your team and introduce yourself. So before Media Bridge, he played in a different team, so he's actually very new to the team right now. So what are some of your team's strengths? He says, I think our shot callers are very, very clear and very strong for our team.
저희 이사님이 해주신 건데 다치고 치킨이라는 뜻이라고 합니다. 오로지 1등만을 위해 달려가는 그런 의미를 가지고 있군요. 평소에 주갱 선수가 인터뷰를 하고 싶어 한다고 들었습니다. 이유가 있을까요?
Oh, your T-shirts are actually kind of funny.
팀 가고 얘기하셨는데요.
Where did you get the idea for your Keep Calm and Chicken shirts?
이렇게 만나게 됐네요.
He said, those are just our official jerseys. So, saying, hey, I heard you wanted to be interviewed. He said, yeah, I was kind of joking about that, but it was kind of true. I feel good about being interviewed. So, you know, if you win, then you can keep having more interviews with me. So do you have any words for your fans? He said, you know, I hope that we can keep playing good games so that we can keep attracting more fans. So that's going to do it for our first interview. Let's head over to interview with DDSG, our man from ROG Centurion. So last time you were up here, you said that C9 were your rivals. Now that you've had a chance to play them and advance to the round of 36, have you changed your mind? He said, no, I haven't changed my mind. I still have them as my rival. You know, I'm kind of actually nervous having this interview today. You know, I feel like our teams are kind of having ups and downs. Sometimes our games are really good, sometimes they're really bad. So,
뭐 상대라고 생각도 안 들고 그냥
maybe
저희 갈 길만
today
가고
is going to be one of those going down
뭐
days.
이지 게임 이지 라이프 바로 가겠습니다.
근데 48강에서는 클라우드9의 성적이 정말 좋았고 경기력도 좋았거든요.
I think C9 have been preparing for us, so I'm just going to try to go
C9은
for
그렇지만
maybe
저희도
easy
좋을 수
game,
있었는데
easy life.
C9 성적은 뭐 그렇게 신경은 안 썼어요.
네.
저희가 좀
She
성적이
says,
안
well,
났던
they did really well that last round, and
강등권이
DDSG
일본
says,
팀에서
well, you know, we did really
저희를
well last round too.
이유가 죽이려고 왔거든요.
아,
그것
예.
때문에 그래서 뭐 딱히 이제 뭐 C9에 대해서 이제 뭐 경계는 안 되고.
You know, I actually felt in that last game that the Japanese team was trying to come over and kill you guys. And he says, you know, I'm just trying to focus on our teamwork and take care of that.
관전 포인트 일단 뭐 리포브.
So what are things that we should watch out for from you guys? What do you want to show to your fans today?
동선이 많이 겹칠 수도 있어요. 근데 만약에 C9과 마주칠 경우 뭐 딱히 뭐
You know, I think that our landmarks are going to overlap with a lot of other teams. But, you know, still, it's going to be easy.
하고요. 저희가 지금 APL에
So, what are you determined to do for today? Do you have any words for your fans?
48강 다 씹어먹고 올라가겠습니다.
You know, I think these ROG teams, even our sister teams, are ranked pretty high. So we're just going to destroy our games today. Big words from DDSG. Let's head over to our third interview with Dingception from C9. So you just heard what DDSG said about how C9 are his rivals. What do you think about his comments? He says, I don't really think much about his comments. And our hostess says, did you hear what he said? And he says, yeah, I heard it, but it doesn't really matter to me. But he also said that, you know, C9 has some ups and downs. So maybe today is the time where you are not going to be as strong. And he says, yeah, that's true, but I still think that I'm confident that we can show a better performance than DDSG and ROG Centurion. So what have you been reinforcing with your team to get stronger? So our standings are pretty safe. So all we have been trying to do is not feel pressured and feel comfortable coming into today's games. So I think a lot of fans are very interested in watching this rivalry. Do you have any words for your fans today? He says, yeah, they keep saying that they're rival teams, but C9 considers every team our rivals. So we're not going to let our fans, we're not going to let our guard down, and we're going to keep trying, you know, to show good games for our fans. Of course, the perfect closeout to any Korean interview, showing strong games for their fans.
Always, always. It's very good to hear. I think what I'm interested to see now, Centurion and C9 seem to have a little beef here. Now, I think it depends on where Centurion wants to land on Miramar, because they said that they expected to be in contested areas of Miramar. Now, when I watched their previous games, they dropped in Puerto Pariso, and no one else has ever really dropped there too much. So I'm curious if they're changing their landmark for today's tournament. However, in Erangel, they like to land in Lipovka, which is very near where C9 likes to land, and they typically go prison or mansion, so I think there will be some fighting there.
Yeah, really excited for Erangel games. Not only is it the mode and the map that teams are most familiar with, but also, you're right, there are going to be a lot of landmarks that overlap. So while we've had teams really sort of figure out how to play within their group, well, now we've kind of tossed everything up and everybody's playing against everybody. I think we have 4 or 5 sister teams playing against each other just in groups A and B, which I illustrate with the numbers 1 and 2. This is the A finger. This is the B finger. Anyway. So there's going to be a lot of overlap between like landing locations, but also these are sister teams. So you might imagine that they practice with each other, they talk about strategies with each other, and it's going to be cool to kind of see some friendly, you know, brotherly love, sibling rivalry, whatever you want to call it. If you have siblings out there, you know exactly what this is going to feel like. But this time we have guns involved, and it's been really cool to watch these guys really come into their own, either as, you know, the stronger team or the weaker team, and maybe now that they get a chance to play against against each other, we'll find out which is which.
For sure, and it's a little disappointing that we don't have Entus Force in here today because they would have been in Group B.
Oh, that's right.
And they would have been playing against Entus Ace. That could have been fun to see. We have the 2 Media Bridge teams playing today, so that should be interesting. We have the 2 ROG teams and the 2 Kongdu teams. So
that's right.
A lot of really good teams out there today, and I'm really curious to see how they play this out. Are they going to drop places that they can kind of work together in a little bit of a way where they won't run into each other, but then they can kind of know, like what other teams are kind of doing, and they know where they want to move to next in the circle, that kind of thing. I'm expecting some interesting stuff out of today because a lot of these teams had overlap in where they wanted to drop, and that's going to have to change.
That's right. So maybe we'll see change in strategies. Maybe we'll see change in which teams are at the top or at the bottom. I love what DDSG was saying in that sometimes teams, have good days and bad days, and there's sort of an ebb and flow. So, for instance, with Cloud9 that he was talking about, saying they had a really good day on the final stage of the round of 48. Now coming into today, maybe this is the which is the forward and out? It's like, is it the ebb?
The ebb is, I don't know, actually. The flow is, the ebb is the out, the flow is the in?
Okay, well, maybe this is the ebb. That's what I'm going to decide today's games might be. So things might just change a whole lot. We still have some of our best teams playing. We're going to get a chance to watch both Kongdu teams play, and I think that a little bit of shake-up there. Kongdu Red Dot has been one of the best teams in Korean PUBG for a while, but with their roster changes and Kongdu Ghillie Suit also making it in here, I don't know. I'm really excited to see which sister team really proves itself over the others, especially ROG Centurion, since they have to go up against their sister team as well.
Yeah. Centurion's kind of the fun. They have a lot of characters on their team, so they're kind of fun to watch and listen to. They're always talking about, easy game, easy life, and making jokes and stuff. So they're kind of cool. Their sister team, Maximus, they're kind of low key, but they're getting it done. They haven't done anything too flashy, no chicken dinners or anything, but they're here and they're not bad at all. They've been playing very solid PUBG. They're not as flashy as Centurion maybe, but they're looking quite strong in some ways.
Indeed they are. Also have to keep an eye on all 3 of our groups, and I think the biggest thing that I'm going to be watching there or a big thing that I'm going to be watching in both of those groups is the success or terrible failure of both of our open bracket teams. And with the penalty points that we talked about being assessed beforehand, that means that both of our open bracket teams did advance. So Team OB just barely scraped in there, and then Shaco, with their insane performance on day 1 of Group A, kind of cruised their way on through, even though day B of Group A, day 2 of Group A was a little bit shakier for them. Both open bracket teams made it through, which I think a lot of people would have found surprising. Now we get to see kind of if that is the real deal.
Right. I'm really curious to see if Shaco is a fluke or not. They had 39 kills on day 1, the highest total of any team on any of the days. Okay, 39. Right. I think the next highest was like 28 or 29. So like 10 more kills than any other team had on that day. Ridiculous. I really want to see them do well. I'm really hopeful that they can find that mojo, whatever they found on day 1, and bring it back here and really give some of these bigger teams a run for their money.
They got to find their groove. So just want to ask you before we get into the game, because we do have all of our players in the lobby, and we should be ready to go here in just a moment. What are your predictions? Which teams are you looking for to do well here now that we've kind of changed the groups up a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. I think Entus Ace got knocked out. Entus Ace will probably be the team to watch today.
Controversial prediction there. Okay.
I know. They've won both of the FPP games on Miramar on days 1 and 2 in Group A, and so I expect to see them do quite well on FPP again. C9 seems to really like Erangel and do really well there, so I expect them to continue to show strong performances. They've won Game 3 both times in their group, so I like those 2 teams a lot. Another team I'm kind of keeping an eye on is AfreecaTV Aries.
Okay.
They played very well in the PSS yesterday, which is another PUBG competition here in Korea. So they they were very shaky for most of the tournament so far, but maybe they found a groove as well, and maybe we'll see a better game out of them.
Yeah, the only team in the top 3 that you didn't mention was KSV Class, who actually come in here with the highest points out of all of our teams. And coming in through day number 1, where they did pick up the final chicken dinner, but it was a water ending, it was like, I was a little bit unsure. And then the next day, they pick up 2 chicken dinners and just looked so sick. I think they got 2nd or 3rd place in another round. And it's just like, wow, these guys are the real deal. So now for them, they've been getting a lot of momentum way up at the top of the standings, but can they maintain that or, even keep looking better if that's possible, right?
Right. I'll be curious to see what they do. We won't see them till Friday, but they are right now our strongest team. They seem to be. Them and C9 are very close in points. They're having very similar success. Class did most of theirs on day 2. C9's been a little more consistent. So, yeah, we'll see if Class can continue to be that dominating team they were last Friday.
That's right. One of the things that I've been keeping an eye on, aside from just KSV Kless, we'll also get a chance to see KSV No Title. Those sister teams are both in Group C, so they'll be fighting against each other for the remainder of the round of 36 and maybe even a little bit later on. That's going to be another one of these classic sort of sister team rivalries where you would go into this tournament thinking No Title is the stronger of the sister teams. Well, they have also got this Kless team that's just absolutely surging. So you've got plenty of things to look forward to. You'll be seeing both of those teams play on Friday and then next Monday as well as Group C plays on both of those. But to bring it kind of back to where we were talking about today's games, we've got Groups A and Group B. We do have several sister teams facing off against each other, so it's going to be very, very exciting to see which ones come out on top. The rivalry is between Cloud9 and ROG Centurion, also going to be essential to focus on through our 4 rounds.
That's probably the one I'm most excited to see. Centurion likes to fight. We saw last week they talked about how they just want to fight other teams. They play it almost like a death match, which is very strange for Korean PUBG. Most teams don't really have that kind of style here in Korea. They're more of a positioning kind of, people in leagues and that kind of thing. So I'm excited to see that. Really, I think maybe there'll be a team that might surprise us, like Bond Spirit Gaming Luna. They were a very high-killing team, so maybe we'll see them have a strong day today.
Cannot wait to get into our first game. This is going to be FPP on Miramar. This is going to be super exciting. So let's go ahead and get into game number 1. And away we go into game number 1. This is round 1 of our round of 36. So starting things off with Groups A and Group B facing off against each other. Of course, everybody's facing off against each other to advance all the way to the grand finals through high placement here in the round robin.
Yeah, here we see Entis Ace Songjang. He's done very, very well in FPP on Miramar, had 10 kills, a lot of knockouts. Here we see Somaz from Maximus, 4 kills, 4 knocks, a lot of damage. He's doing very well as the Maximus member for ROG. And I'm really curious to see where this plane goes and where our teams land. There are some teams like the ITCK Rocat Armor, that name is so hard to say, ITCK Rocat Armor, and Lunatic High and Actor Stars Indigo, who like to drop Los Leones. Will they continue there? Have they kind of found their little split into Los Leones? But here we go.
That's right. It's going to be a west to east plan right across El Pozo, and of course ending up heading over Impala. Now, Impala is somewhere that our rookie team, Shaco, actually really like to go because it's out of the way. Well, this time it'll be right on the flight path, so it'll be interesting to see if that changes their minds. And of course, teams having to deal with different teams, different landmarks. Don't see too much overlap over the first half of the map. Will teams decide to go Pecado? Because there have been some games where teams really avoid that area, although it does look like at least Myth will be checking it out.
Yeah, for sure. We saw Entis Ace drop into El Pozo uncontested. Usually there might be 1 or 2 teams that go into El Pozo, so very surprising. C9 doing their normal drop at Power Grid. That's where they like to go on this map. And it does look like the Centurions might be going to Puerto Pariso. So I don't think they'll run into anybody too early there unless another team decides to try to make that their landmark as well. Maybe they talked about the Japanese team, and we do see Akihabara and Count kind of heading in the same direction.
That is actually really cool because they did take massive issue with C9, but already a couple of brilliant knocks from Swift. He is punishing Bond Spirit Gaming Luna with a first kill of the game in under 2 minutes?
Yeah, wow, a really fast start for Myth here. Myth is our Thailand team. Their name Myth actually means made in Thailand, which is kind of funny. But they're well known for their FPP play. They're supposed to be one of the best FPP PUBG teams in Asia. So not too surprising to see them have a strong start.
All right, yeah, already 4 players eliminated. We didn't even get a chance to see all of those kills. But Bond Spirit Gaming Luna, one of the teams that kind of surprised me as they headed up in the standings, not going to be starting off round 1 in a very strong way.
Yeah, an unfortunate start for them. It just, the Myth player got the gun first, and there were 2 other players on the roof, and he made his shots count.
So this is sort of the second phase of the early game where teams either long pull to the location that they want to be in, or they drop, find a vehicle, and then disperse even further. So even though this was a drop that went pretty much down the middle of the map, you're going to see teams really, really spread out at this point.
Yeah, in the beginning, every team has a landmark they like to go to, and these teams are so good and so fast at looting that they can pretty much go anywhere on the map, depending on the planes. Usually, sometimes if if the plane cuts off about a quarter of the map, they might not be able to go from the northwest corner down to the southeast corner in time. But for the most part, you can get where you need to go if you find a vehicle quickly.
I mean, for context, it's about the 3-minute mark, and we just had a member of Lunatic High finally land on the ground. So, some players just, like to chill up in the air for a little bit, but it's, of course, important to get to your landmark.
Right. And really interesting here, no one's contesting Shaco in Impala. They get it to themselves again. There's one member of Akihabara N-Count that's kind of close to them, but I think he's just looking for a vehicle and going to peace out of there.
Yeah, AE actually enjoy splitting up. Sometimes they'll do a 3-1 split and have a scout who either stays on the mainland or something along that line. This time they've opted for, I think this is a 2-2. No, it is that 3-1 split with everyone way north of the rest of his teammates. Couldn't quite make it with the rest of them. But as we do see our players split way, way far away, we are going to see Media Bridge Red actually go down and hit the island. So they're going to be through Valle del Mar and down towards Prison and Los Higos for their loot phase of the game, which puts them the team farthest away from this circle.
Yeah, they've done this in every Miramar match so far in the tournament. Media Bridge Red really likes that Prison Island and Los Higos. So not too surprising to see them go there. They get it uncontested. The loot is pretty darn good there. So it's nice to have an uncontested area with a lot of good loot as a team.
I wish all of the areas I landed came under that category. Unfortunately, just playing regular PUBG, it looks a little bit different than our professional games where teams like to pick their own landmarks. Like, all right, we're going to stay here, we're going to loot, and then we get a chance to play a little bit later on. But, we had our early aggression as teams landed, got their first guns, and, had our first early casualties. But now things have stabilized a little bit, so we should be entering the looting phase. We don't really get a chance to see too much of what teams are picking up in terms of loot, but it already seems like we've got at least one level 3 helmet there, and so some teams are going to get a little bit luckier than others in this early loot phase.
Yeah, we'll see where teams, when they start to rotate is going to be really interesting. Now, some of our big teams that we know that like to make early moves are kind of already in the circle. Entus Ace already in the circle. C9 already in the circle. So they're okay. They're probably just going to hang out. Maybe C9 might move a little bit more central if they like their loot, but I don't think Entus Ace is going to be leaving Pozo anytime soon. But I'm really curious to see if any teams are going to make aggressive moves to try to get to the center of the circle early.
Potential engagement right here. The Nightwolves actually could hear Somaz running up. He's also running without a gun in his hand, so he might just get dropped on right here. And it looks like he actually fires the shots first and hits Somaz Somaz with the hits inside the building. Zerazang is really going to have to be careful here, as now he risks getting breached.
Yeah, he had an ump. It was kind of sneaky there. He was running with his fists out, so we couldn't see the ump. But now he's got it. He did some damage. But there's 2 members of Nightwolves here, maybe 3. And it's going to be tough for Somaz. Oh, he takes a lot of damage.
The rest of Maximus are rolling up, though, so this could actually be pretty important. Kane has a nice angle way on top of the hill to sort of rain down the fire from on high, but I don't know if this is the right decision to breach here. It seems like they do want to pick the fights, but I'm not sure how well this is going to go for Maximus, who already has Somaz down pretty low with no meds, crucially enough.
Yeah, Somaz is in a really tough position here, but so is Nightwolves. Neither team really having much of an advantage out of this yet. Looks like Zerzan going for the kill.
I think he was just trying to catch Somaz looking, or if he was healing, maybe find him in a little bit of a vulnerable spot. But he's actually pretty safe in between the boxes off to the side, and he will be calling in his teammates right now. Calling in kind of an airstrike, but instead it's a teammate strike. He's just going to try to get a little bit of information to inform the rest of his team what the best way to breach the Nightwolves compound will be.
Right, exactly. He's relaying the information, acting as the scout, while the rest of Maximus rolls up. Looks like they're going to try to flank Mango. Well, he thinks maybe the Nightwolves member is going to move out. Nope, he doesn't. They can hear the footsteps, and you could tell the direction they're coming from, so you can be kind of patient here. Wait for one of the teams to maybe make a position mistake while your teammates move into a flanking position to try to get the most out of the situation.
Hard to breach without grenades, so that does make it very very difficult, but it looks like Zerzang actually did get knocked over there. Somaz will get knocked there as well, and so we're already seeing a better trade here for ROG. They will take 1 kill, 2 kills, and successfully breach the compound, almost eliminating the Nightwolves as the first team.
Yeah, even when you have a compound and you have the defender's advantage, 4v2 is still quite a difficult obstacle to overcome.
Yeah, even when one of the guys trying to breach your compound is very low health. Turns out the power of friendship prevails once again.
As it always does. Now, it looks like C9, they're just kind of moving a little bit to the west. They're not too worried about getting more central. They're just going to loot a little bit more. Power grid itself, for 4 people, the loot's not bad, but maybe not the best, so they might need to do a little bit more of that. Here we see a member of Detonator, Hong Lego. He got knocked somehow.
Now, Detonator are one of the teams that I really, really want to keep an eye on. I think he did get sniped by a member of Media Bridge Red earlier. I didn't quite check that up on the kill feed, but Detonator had that one chicken dinner. They're looking insane. They said in an interview after that that they really feel like they have a lot to prove here. They Detonator are a Japanese organization that are fielding a Korean team in this Korean tournament. And while there are also other Japanese teams in this tournament, Akihabara and Counters are representative here. They did feel like they had a little bit more to prove. So taking an early knock, definitely not the way you want to start this out, but something to keep an eye on as the tournament continues.
Right. Draft's got a Groza here, which means they picked up that first crate, and he's looking to do some work on the Kongdu Gillisuit, who's up on the mountain. Not in a bad position. Kongdu Gillisuit's kind of shooting at another team, though, so hard to say what's going on there. It looks like they're going to move.
Yeah, Phenom was taking a few shots at him, just exchanging those back and forth, but probably nothing really to come out of that. Another plane flying overhead. We'll see exactly where the drops come out. It's the poor man's sniper rifle. It's oh no, that is actually an SKS. I thought it was an AK. But yeah, so already great loot, a little bit of a loot pile as Kongdu Red Dot finally get a chance to sort of meet up and distribute their loot evenly.
Right. We see a couple teams that are outside the circle already, kind of doing what we noticed with Kakao first, but Kakao's not here today. So we've got Quadro, Media Bridge Red, the Centurions, and Lunatic High still outside the circle. They're making their way in now, except for Media Bridge Red. They seem content to just keep looting, but maybe they found a lot of health, so they can buy some time here.
Yeah, Quadro and MBR are going to be the 2 teams that stay outside the circle the longest. Now, Shaco are actually one of the teams that used to do that, but have sort of refined that to just pick a safe place. And then, by far more than any other team, they are able to cut into the middle very, very safely. So they are very non-interactive for the first part of the game, but then they just start taking names.
Right, exactly. And we saw that maybe on day 2, teams kind of figured them out a little bit, knew kind of their paths where they like to go, because it seemed like Shaco was going places that other teams didn't expect. And now they were kind of figured out, so they had a much tougher time. Wow, some nice shots.
Yeah, a beautiful shot, exploding the Bronco there, taking out Fire Might. So already the Japanese team, Akihabara End Count, is really falling right and left at the hands of the Africa Freaks.
Yeah, and Crow got pretty low there as well, and he's still under fire. He gets knocked by Shadow.
Indeed, he does, and so that means that Akihabara and Count are at risk of being our first team eliminated from round 1.
Yep, Crow gets finished by Shadow there with the AK, so we still got Ivrin left for Akihabara and Count. He's going to have to be a little bit sneaky now. He's on his own. He's got a motorcycle, so he's good. He should be able to get into the circle. Looks like he's going to opt to loot a little bit more, though.
Well, he's going to need a little bit of loot to make up for the rest of his team being dead. But let's check out Merrill landing some beautiful SKS shots. Power of the 8X in the palm of his hand.
Yeah, the SKS, a wonderful gun in squads. You can shoot, it comes with a 10-bullet clip. It's semi-automatic. So even if you get the knock, you can finish it as well.
Oh, not where you want to be when you're getting sniped at by an M4 at long range. Merrill, he had such great shots. We were just checking him out there in the highlight reel. But running up a cliff on a buggy is not a great way to stay alive.
And Clocky gets knocked too. Some really nice shots coming from Embridge. Actually, Curious ran over Clocky.
Yeah, he ran him over. I was going to say that in the kill feed. That is highly unfortunate timing at that particular moment. So going to need to maybe smooth things out there. We've actually seen quite a number of vehicle-related team casualties over the course of this tournament, which makes me feel a little bit better about the games that I play, but maybe not so much if you're looking to see how a team is going to turn out.
Yeah, I think it was it Max Till Mad had a member, Dahui, who got run over
by his teammate.
By his teammate.
This is not how you pick him up and put him in the cart. No, they gotta walk out of the way first.
Maybe they don't have their driver's licenses.
Yeah, they wouldn't be the only one. I had my my pub driver's license revoked after a while. Once they kind of changed the way that some of the cars worked, I was no longer allowed to drive.
It's hard to drive those cars. They drift a little bit now, and they kind of slide around a little bit.
Quite difficult.
Yeah.
I'll like take the least little bit of air. My buggy does a 360. I'm like, okay, clearly I am unqualified to pilot this vehicle. As are some of our other players, but for the most part, teams are pretty adept at that. Some teams have actually kind of elected drivers, so they're the ones that are very practiced at pulling off a few of the tricks, traversing rough terrain, putting their vehicular safety in the hands of experts.
As they should. Now, one thing that I'm seeing on the map that's kind of interesting is Shaco went all the way up north around water treatment, and now they're all the way back kind of down south by Picado. They opted to not go in through the north part of the circle there. I'm kind of curious what their strategy is here. There's a lot of teams in the southeastern part of that circle where they're kind of coming in.
So like I said about Shaco, they're a very non-interactive team. So I think what they did is analyze that entering the circle from the upper portion was a little bit too close for comfort. Teams like Maxtel were right in their way, and so instead they rotate around the bottom half of the circle through Picado, got a chance to loot a little bit more, and are now going to come up into the circle, but they'll run right in to ROG Maximus, the Africa Freaks. Maybe if they head northwards, a little bit of Actos, but let's take a look at Detonator and Asterisk heading up against each other. Look at Dochi way up on the cliff there for Detonator, giving them great information so that maybe they'll be able to nade Asterisk out.
Yeah, you're exactly correct, and this is allowing the other members of Detonator to make a nice flank, and they get Oa with the grenade, and here they come looking for Michael. They knock him too.
Oh my god, just beautiful team coordination there. Dochi, I don't even know how he got into such an incredible position, but that is just impeccable teamwork there from Detonator.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Asterisk, a team who had a really strong day 2 in their group. Not going so well to begin here today. They've got 2 members down already.
Looks like Detonator aren't even going to finish Oa off, so he is just going to die the slow, painful death of a teammate without a team.
Now, this is an interesting circle. It just moved to the southwest corner, kind of covering El Pozo and Monte Nuevo.
Ooh.
So we already see Entis Ace making their move. I believe we might see C9 do it as well, but they've got Quadro coming in. They might do some gatekeeping here.
I'm glad you pointed that out, Paper Thin, because Quadro were a team that has stayed outside the circle a very long time. Now, finally, they enter. They enter with a little bit under full health, so that might make them vulnerable to getting gate kept by teams like Cloud9, but it looks like they are able to just turn and burn on through without taking any casualties.
Yeah, Quadro got a chicken dinner on their own on day 1, so a pretty strong team in their own right. They finished, I believe, 3rd or 4th in their group.
So this is Merrill taking out Embridge Aqua. on the edge of the cliff. Just get a chance to hear some of their team communication there. Great shots. Good kill early on. You know, we're down under our first 10 players eliminated, but we still have all 24 our starting teams.
Yeah, we just saw Sandbox Red just a second ago there. That's a team we should talk about a little bit because they just barely squeaked into the tournament with a second-place finish in the very last day of day 2 of Group B. So nice to see them still alive doing their thing. Maybe they can get some good results and maybe even get into the finals without having to go through the wild card.
Alarm knocking Quarate at very, very long range, I think an M4, so having those shots connect. Kongdu Red Dot down below. Acta is actually way up on top, and even though Quarate did get knocked there, he will have a teammate there to res him. 805, the key member of Shaco, is Insane Slayer for them, is actually knocked way far away from the rest of his team as they roll up on ROG Maximus and find an early knock to start off their engagement. Yeah,
not the start that Shaco wants. It's going to be tough for them. I mean, they made a nice move to get where they got, but unfortunately they get caught out. It was a very difficult rotation for them. There's a lot of teams kind of on that eastern edge of the circle, so they didn't really have any great entry points. They tried to find one, and it didn't work out too well.
Indeed, it did not. Everin for Akihabara end count, still just chilling by himself. He's in that same compound that he entered after the rest of his team got wiped, and he's just chilling out. He's going to go for survival mode and try to stick around in this game as long as possible.
Yeah, he doesn't have much choice. We've seen a couple other teams do that. Lunatic High did it one game. I remember Entus Force did that one game.
Yeah, MVP actually had a sick game. I think it was the end of round 1 or something, where they had Easy Peasy Man just tucked in this nook of a cliff that was basically totally inaccessible by anyone else. He was able to survive the top 4 and make it look easy. So
yeah, and sometimes if you're dealt a bad hand to start the game, you got to make the most of it. And if you're the last person left, it kind of becomes imperative that you just try to survive.
Take a look back on our screen, just talk about the action at hand. Acta is actually, Indigo, very, very spread out right here. They've got a couple of nice angles, and really right now, Kongdu Red Dot are kind of fish in a barrel, getting beset on all sides by the forces of darkness, and also maybe their, or actually it's ROG Centurion. Kongdu Red Dot's names are overlapping there, but some great nades thrown right inside. They get one knock, and Mad Cow coming up, making the mad move, trying to move in on Centurion.
Yeah, they see him. Let's see if he can get it. Oh, he gets knocked.
I think that was a little bit over-aggressive. He didn't have the rest of his team there to back him up. They're a little bit further away, and so I think he is going to go down there. Take a look at Antis Ace. This is one of our teams that you really expect to have top 5 finishes. They're already taking some losses. Christus, one of their star players, getting knocked, getting narrowly taken down, and actually they're almost about to lose Sonjang at the same time.
Yeah, it looks like they might be able to get the res. It depends on if the armor team can make a move and get a view. Oh, but Temeria goes down, or Sonjang, I'm sorry, Sonjang.
Yeah, Sonjang actually got naded out there, couldn't crawl away from the nade fast enough, so he will go down, and that's an early casualty for one of our top teams.
Yeah, and it looks like some people is also knocked. Temeria, I think, might be the only member of Ventus A still up.
Yeah, we could just witness one of the top teams going out in the bottom 5. That would be a little bit crazy. Now, this is FPP, so even some of our top teams do not perform well here, but MVP Ace are one of the team, or not MVP Ace, OG and Entis Ace, are one of the teams that have performed very well in first person.
Right, winning both of their first person games in their group. So surprising to see them struggling a little bit here in the beginning, but Armor just landing some nice shots when they were trying to pass by. They got out, fought Entis Ace at this little compound, and came out ahead.
So now Armor push up. They get a chance to loot the members of Entis Ace, and Temeria might think his days are numbered, but maybe Armor just stops here. They take the kills that they got and are going to proceed safely because School can't find a way out of his compound.
Well, Armor's heating up. They're landing some shots. They just knocked a couple members of ROG Maximus as well as they were going through. Just some really nice shooting by Armor.
Temeria is going to spend the rest of his life looking at this door. Like, all right, come at me, bros. And then the door right beside him opens. But it's a joke. It's a fake. The grenade comes in through the window. Lots of ways to break into here. So the Freaks have found a compound for themselves. They will try to defend that. But we've got Myth right up here on the hills. A great line of sight down there to that compound. Nades being thrown out here. Actually, let's take a look now at Sandbox. They were one of our teams that started out rough, did very well at scrims, and then finished very strong to just barely be able to qualify for the round of 36.
Yeah, a really exciting game from them at the end to get that second place finish. They needed it, otherwise they would have not made it into the round of 36.
That's right. Now, Baum, the member of Sandbox that actually got stuck out in the blue as it moved in, he was forced to heal out there. He does, but he is still outside the circle. Will be taking damage until he can find a way into the circle to rejoin his team.
Right, we're moving into the mid-game here. A lot of teams are starting to engage each other. We're having a lot of kills and a lot of deaths all across the map. It's getting a little chaotic, but that's the way PUBG goes.
You know, I said Myth had a great angle, but now they're actually the ones taking losses because you can't stay in one place for very long until teams figure out your location and come to try to take you out. And so Myth lose a couple. They get knocked. I'm not sure if they will totally die there, but we are starting to see our first few teams be eliminated down to only 15.
Yeah, it looks like C9 is looking to move in on WGS, who's got a new position, as well as Ro.36 is here as well. C9 making their move. Dingception, he's got the vehicle. He's their wheelman. Shinon, maybe the best player on WGS. He's had a very strong tournament so far, looking to throw a grenade down there. But here we see Detonator. They still have all 4 people up. They had a very strong day 1 in their group. Not as strong on day 2, but I look to see them maybe have a little bit of a better performance today.
Lunatic High, a team that won the last FPP mode game that they played with all 4 members alive. One of the strongest FPP performances we've seen out of any team. And now they are at risk of losing Azren with only Conan there to revive him. The blue is here and it's dealing a ton of damage. I'm not even sure if Azren can res underneath that damage afterwards.
He might just have enough time to
pull
he got
off
knocked
a bandage.
Instantly. Oh, he got knocked instantly.
Yeah, so he didn't even have time to heal under the damage from that blue zone. And that's something you got to know as you know, a pro PUBG player. When is it worth it to just leave your teammate? When can you stay there and heal him? Not that time.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Moving over to Myth again. They have 8 kills as a team so far. They're strutting their stuff today. We heard that they were a really good FPP team. We hadn't really seen it in the first 2 rounds, but we're seeing it now today.
Kongdu Red Dot here. Clocky, the only member left alive. Both Kongdu teams are here in our first group. Oh, man, running right up on him. That is, I mean, Clocky is ninja assassin right there. Unfortunately, he gets assassinated and will go out. So that's Kongdu Red Dot finishing, you know, sub top 10, which is a little bit surprising as they are one of our stronger teams. Now let's watch the hay bale wars right there. It's Under actually going to get the drop there, taking out Nyong, and that's I mean, exactly the play that he had to make right there. He was in a pinch situation. Yeah. He has to come up with the clutch 1v1, and he wins it.
Yeah, Under with that unbelievable squad wipe on Friday. What a sick player he is. That with that S12K, just wrecking teams as they came into his house. It was awesome.
Yeah, and I think he did wind up getting points for that too, right? Yeah. It was the game that we had to remake at the end of the round of 48. But, yeah, he still got points for that insane player coming up big again in the head-to-head.
Yeah, here we see Detonator. They've got a nice little position behind some of these hay bales, trading some shots with DPG.
And Ilgo just hitting the tiny little head as it peeks out from behind the hay bale. Some great shots, but we're coming into our final circle, and that means we really have to keep an eye on which teams are going to rotate and when. Looks like WGS are one of our teams who are just thinking about heading into the circle, but DPG, Danawa are actually already in there, maintaining 2 of the remaining 6 compounds left inside.
Yeah, this is a pretty sick position for DPG. They got no one behind them, no one really on their flanks. Detonator can't really move up on their flank. They've got a lot of good cover here, so it's a very strong position for DPG.
That's right. Gadel is a little bit caught out. Everyone knows where his position is, so he might need to take some extra caution rotating. Cloud9 now finally making their move into the circle, but where will they find an opportunity? They're going to roll up on WGS, so can they make it by? Will this be the move that is theirs or that costs them their chances here?
A nice move by Dingception here to kind of get to that little hay bale shack. That's a nice position to hold. It gets them in front of WGS, but Eureka taking some damage.
He's going to have to drop and heal there. This is precious seconds in our final circles. You rarely see teams with even the time to either heal or res, and it looks like WGS are getting much the worst trade of having C9 push into them.
Yeah, C9 doing very good. They've already got 1 knock.
Oh, Neotica from Myth. He's trying to run out there and be sort of the I don't know, clay pigeon in that the van. It is a tank, and so he will have a little bit of success there, but Cloud9, they lose Dingception up there. He is knocked. Eureka getting sniped down there by, I think it was Yaneda?
Yaneda.
Yeah, so taking him out there, Eureka does get, was he knocked or just very low health? I guess he was very low health. And low health he will stay as one of the last surviving members of Cloud9. I say that because they only lost one, so maybe he's not one of the last surviving members.
Still 7 teams up, quite a bit for this late in the game, but there's quite a bit of cover in this area of the circle, even though it's pretty flat, but there's a lot of horizontal cover, which you don't see as much on Miramar. Usually Miramar, you're playing a lot more of the vertical cover game, using the crevices and the hills and that kind of thing, but our circle today, a little more Erangel-esque.
K5H in a little bit of struggle town. He's going to have to make the move to another compound as the blue circle comes in. This one does so much damage, so he will have to make that escape very, very quickly. Dingception knocked again.
Yeah, Hongildong doing some work with the S12K. He's got the extended mag on it. You can tell because it had more than 10 bullets in the clip. That's a really nice tool to have in your hand towards the end of these games. You could do a lot of damage with that SKS.
DPG were the masterminds for this circle, so Danawa put themselves in a great spot, but now with the next one showing up, it actually seems like Yeka is in the best position there for WGS. We'll see if he can maintain that good position as the rest of these very strong teams, Detonator, C9 Korea, push in.
Yeah, Suck getting knocked by Hong Lego. Detonator really looks accurate today. They're landing a lot of their shots.
And look at Dingception. You can see his health ticking away so quickly there. He's inside the circle, but he's been dropped so many times, he's going to die almost instantly. And indeed, there is his death at the hands of Doshi.
Yeah, well, I'm curious to see what Yeka does here. I think he's just going to kind of worm his way up to that hay bale, try to stay hidden. C9 kind of knew where he was, but now they're busy with Detonator and DPGs, so it's a little difficult for them to keep track of him.
Rowie, quiet. Yeah, Eureka is going to be our snake here along with Neotica. They're just going to try to make their way into the circle as inconspicuously as possible. Call this surreptitious loaderation. You sneakily move your body from one place to another. There's Sook trying to make it through there. Nautica has a great angle on him, but I'm not sure he even might realize that.
I don't know if he saw him. He got up because he had to move a little bit because the circle was closing on him. I don't know if he saw Eureka there.
Shout out to the farmers of America planting fields like this to allow teams like C9 to snake their way past the Myth onslaught. So Neotica is by himself down there. Sandboxer was eliminated just moments ago, and so Myth getting one of their surviving members into this top 5.
Yeah, really nice job by them getting a top 5 finish. Again, they struggled, but we're down to our last 10. Detonator Ilgo just went down.
Eureka finally getting knocked there. Yeka goes down, and that'll be WCS out, or WGS rather, out of the tournament, or out of round 1 rather. As Yeka takes him out, Catch finding a kill there, and right now we're about to see everything kind of hit the fan. DPG, they're finally making their move from their compound into the center of the circle. They will once again be the only team left in the circle as Cloud9 try to defend the position they are in right now, and eventually they will have to think about making a move into DPG's circle.
Right, this could end pretty quick. There's not a lot of cover in here. There's still a lot of players left. They're just sneaking around for the most part. Nobody has a lot of cover, and Dochi takes down Keswick.
This is so crazy. Sook, Neotica both crawling around there. Hong Lego also just crawling through the wheat field. The circle moving in will be the big determining factor here, and whether or not players can find each other amongst all of the debris on the ground.
Right, Catch looking to find some cover here. Dochi kind of got his eyes on a hay bale as well. There's another player, it's DPG player behind that one.
Yeah, 4X on an AK, going to land a lot of damage very, very quickly and accurately. Sook moving up on Catch just to try to coalesce their team, but they're going to have to move here very, very soon. The final moments of our first round are about to conclude here. Cloud9 have a great shot at this, but DPG are the team that have rotated first. Better, more efficiently, they find themselves in a very strong place as now C9 are forced to pick up, move in.
This is anybody's game. Any team could win this. It's going to come down to who can execute and land their shots the best. Everybody's in a pretty similar position. Oh, DPG knocking Suck.
That's the benefit of being in a better position in the circle. Hong Il-dong able to stand up, take down Suck. No way to save him. He's going to try to crawl in, but he is pretty much out of there. Catch, no way he can res him at this point. He's just going to try to kind of distance himself from the teammate, not associate himself with a known factor, and stay incognito as he crawls on in.
Yeah, here comes Hong Il-dong's grenade. Ooh, it gets Suck. Does a little damage to Catch. He doesn't quite know where Catch is yet, so he's just kind of throwing some grenades and hoping something connects.
Hong Il-dong probably going to be able to see Catch as he moves in there, and yeah, there are those shots coming down. Hong Il-dong with a nice shot to take C9 out of this top 5.
really nice to see DPG doing some work here. They were almost out of the tournament, just barely squeaked through, and they're having a really strong game today.
DPG, they still lose one more. They have two more members, one member up, the other member down. But now Detonator has the most team members left alive. They will get a few precious seconds to heal up before we head into our final engagement. It looks like Hong Lego is actually a little bit spread out, looking to push up, but Merideo, he's got some cover, and some of the only cover left in this final circle.
Right, so we're on the final circle, which means in about a minute or two, we're going to see a star appear on the map. That star is where the circle will close to that exact pixel, so teams have some options. They can try to heal through it. You only can get one first aid kit off if you have full health. If you have less than full health, you don't have enough time really to do a first aid kit. If you have a med kit left, you could opt to move into the circle, but oh, Doji takes some damage.
He stood up. It's about playing chicken. The first man to stand gets taken out. A beautiful play by our last surviving Myth player who's still taking names. He gets that knockdown there onto Doji. It's going to be very hard, if not impossible, to pick him up again.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to res him. This is 2 versus 1 versus 1.
Hong Eldong gets taken out there. Dochi, he's going to try to crawl to the center of the circle. That just lines him up for Merideo. So he's trying to put himself out there, say, look, if you want to kill me to get the points, you're going to reveal your position. And maybe that helps out the last surviving member of his team, Hong Lego. And it actually might, because Hong Lego's right next to Merideo.
Yeah, he gets the kill there. Hong Lego heard that. He's got to kind of know where he is. Nyataka's moving his way in. This is kind of a rock, paper, scissors. Which player will opt to stand up? Yeah. Will somebody try to heal instead?
Who stands up first? Look at Hong Lego! Oh! He sees Merideo crawl right by him, but now he has to run into the circle. He's actually outside. Look at how much damage he's taking. He might have actually died just from being able to not get in the circle in time. Nyataka stands up, takes him out, and Myth with the surprise comeback finish to take first place in round 1.
Wow, our team from Thailand showing us why they're known as one of the best FPP teams in Asia. An unbelievable performance there at the end by Nyataka. What a how he was so patient. That was incredible.
I mean, that was a little bit what Ivrin on Akihabara End Count attempted to do. Say, hey, my team died. I'm just going to try to survive as long as possible. Well, sometimes you can do one better, and for Nyataka, he really took Myth home that game. What impeccable play and such an exciting final circle.
A really exciting final circle. We got to see DPG, a team who hasn't done too well in this tournament. They're in the bottom half of our group of 36, almost near the very bottom. Really exciting to see them do well. Detonator, another team that struggled a little bit on day 2 in their group, doing very well there to get 3rd place.
That was an incredible round. I cannot wait to get some extra insight into those players, but we're going to take a quick commercial break and head it back into round 2.
Feel the spark, we ignite, turn my mind into an open fire. 'Cause when I'm with you, when I'm with you, when I'm with you, I'm hit and I'm falling low. I'm gonna fall like a domino, like I'm hit by a wrecking ball. I'm gonna fall like a domino, domino. And every single part of my knocked out heart keeps on telling me there's no way I'm letting go. I'm hit and I'm falling low. I'm gonna fall like a domino, domino. Your skin on my skin, without words and without gravity. Breathe me out, breathe me in. Let me stay here for eternity. 'Cause when I'm with you, when I'm with you, when I'm with you, I'm hit and I'm falling low. I'm gonna fall like a domino, like I'm hit by a wrecking ball. I'm gonna fall like a domino, domino. And every single part of my knocked out heart keeps on telling me there's no way I'm letting go. I'm hit and I'm falling low.
이런 식이죠. 이쪽에서 아이 컨택트가 되면서 네. 흔들 흔들림이 지우개가 되고 행복한 사람이라서 사실 주변과 굉장히 다르네요. 네. 제가 원래는
가장 모순이 있는 팀이라고 생각하거든요. 저는 굉장히 조심스럽게 안정적으로 운영을 하려고 하는데 전투하는 걸 굉장히 좋아하는 것 같아요.
게이밍 루나 지금 12킬, 볼스피 게이밍 전체 14킬. 와, PSG 시작돼요. 이용하면서
APL 시즌 1 K 10kg 나오는 분위기가 아닌가 싶거든요.
피지컬이요. 2라운드 때 이제 저희가 키를 많이 쓸어 담고 그러다 보니까 좀 좋은 성적 뽑은 것 같아요. 아, 역시 나는 잘하는구나.
잘리면 안 된다고? 진짜 조심하다.
실제 성격은 다 조심조심한데 게임에서는 굉장히 과감하게 해서 굉장히 모순된 팀이죠.
합이 어떻게 잘 맞어요?
서로 잘 맞춰보고 있죠.
얘가 맞추는 약간 상망.
그 C9 분들의 뒷맘이 있으면은 저희는 상맘이라고 상호 형이 가장 잘 챙겨주죠.
처음에는 첫날은 좀 쉽게 봤지. 없잖아. 대회를 쉽게 봤지.
경기 분위기는 데이원이나 데이트가 별로 달랐던 건 없어.
어차피 올라갈 거 알고 있거든.
저희가 높은 점수로 상위권에 랭크되어 있는 게 아니기 때문에 최종 목표는 당연히 우승이겠지만 많이 노력해봐야겠죠. 솔직히 뭐 변수가 난무하는 배틀그라운드에서 예정이라는 건 잘 모르겠고요. 압도적인 1등이죠. 자신은 있는데 그렇게 해봐야죠. 정말 데이1 끝나고 저희도 분위기가 좀 싸하긴 했지만 그분들은 더 힘드셨을 거라고 생각해요.
안녕하세요. 아프리카 프릭스 아레스입니다. 자, 그리고 이제 위기팀이거든요. 레드존. 제 아래쪽에 있는 팀들은 강등 위기예요.
그렇죠. 아프리카 프릭스 아레스.
4월 2일 치욕적인 날 어떤 날인가요? 저희 4월 2일 그때 APL 예선 첫 주 때 살짝 말아먹어가지고
그때는 정말 참담했죠. 저희 숙소 분위기도 어두웠고
눈물이 흐르더라고요. 진짜 되게 힘들었어요. 지옥에 있다가 살짝 이제 한 발자국 탈출한 느낌.
데이원한테 지옥을 봤지.
데이원 때? 데이원 때 우리 표정을 보여주자. 그냥 평범하게 올라갔으면 기분 그렇게 막 썩 좋진 않았을걸? 진짜 밑바닥 한번 찍고 올라가서 기분 막 그렇게 째진 거지.
우리가 이렇게 복지를 받고 이렇게 좋은 환경에서 게임하는데 이 멤버로 강등 건 그냥 부담감을 느끼면서 한 것 같아요.
저희 촬영하러 자주 와주시면 안 돼요? 이게 카메라 들이대니까 애들이 안 일어나가지고 벌떡 일어나더라고. 나 너 아침에 씻는 거 보고 깜짝 놀랐어.
바보 세팅 해주고 나 소름 돋았잖아.
맞아, 아침에 일어났는데 카메라가 앞에 있는데.
야, 이렇게 가식적이냐 어떡해?
예, 아프리카가
5위가 집중을 합니다. 아프리카 프릭스 RS도 현재 11킬.
그렇죠. 지금 3명 남아있고.
제가 3라운드에 버그로 인해서 제가 죽었는데 그때 만약에 2등을 안 했으면 저희가 올라오지 못했을 건데 어떻게 보면 팀원들이 생일 선물 줬다고 생각하고
3라운드 제가 각성하기보다는 로자를 경렬이 형이랑 국현이가 둘이서 정말 잘해줘가지고 네.
3라운드 사고가 한 번 있었는데 데이를 죽여버렸어요. 예, 튕기를 했는데
어쩔 수 없이.
대휘 선수 오늘 생일이거든요.
생일인데
생일빵을 좀
파티를
세게, 예.
이렇게 좀 세게 해가지고.
이게 뭐 어떻게 보면 생일빵이 됐거든요.
쟤다 내가 많이 떨궜어. 데이야 일로 와봐봐.
얘네 차 있어. 오토바이랑 픽업도.
사실 지옥에 탈출했기 때문에 남은 거는 이제 좋은 모습 보여드린 것밖에 없어서
슈퍼 플레이를 보여줘서 우승은 당연히 목표로 잡아야 된다 생각해.
최종 목표요? 1등 열심히 하겠습니다.
So you better start running. So you better start running. Yeah. So you better start running. So you better start. So you better start. 'Cause there's only one king.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the APL Season 1, Round 36. Coming out of Round 1 with a very surprise finish from our Thai team, Myth, who survive somehow into the very final circle and wind up taking it home.
Yeah, we had two of our teams who didn't have a lot of success during the round of 48 do very well that game, Myth and DPG. DPG almost didn't make it into the round of 36, so really cool to see them do well.
They looked a little bit KSV Kless-esque in their I don't know what you want to call it, their ability to rotate into the middle of the circle ahead of everyone else. They got there, they finished in first place. 500 points will be theirs. Of course, 110 kill points, the most of any team in our first round.
Yeah, a really sick game by them. Detonator and Danawa both had 10 kills, not bad for them. C9, 7 kills, Quadro, 8, so pretty good rounds for them as well. We expect to see that from C9. Quadro's done well in this tournament as well.
Keep in mind, Myth were actually some of the team to pick up the first kill in the round, as well as the last kill in the round. So they were really bookending round 1, going coast to coast and taking home a lot of points for their first round in FPP. So now we'll be moving it over to TPP, but not before we highlight a few of our final teams there. Akihabara and Count, lots of struggles there. Their player Ibran tried to survive as long as possible, but couldn't quite get it done. Max Till Mad, BSG Luna, the team that you just saw there in that interview, placing next to last. A very sort of rainy, sad, whatever their mood was in that video. They're feeling it again after round 1.
Yeah, an uncharacteristic game from Bond Spirit Gaming Luna. They usually rack up a lot of kills, even if they might not place very high, but this game, they only got 1 kill and did not place very high. An unfortunate result.
Now, this is very important to notice. Your points carry over from the round of 48 into the round of 36. So the round of 36 builds on your previous achievements. All that gets reset as you move into the finals or the wildcard match. So this is really the last chance you have to build on your previous scores. And you can see that happening right here. Akihabara end count, they're not going to advance very far up there. Shaiko fall very, very close to being eliminated. You got to watch out for those guys. They tried their same strategy. It didn't pay off, and so some changes need to happen. Not for these guys. Detonator had a great finish.
Yeah, Detonator looked to kind of get their form back where they're just making smart decisions. They were very, very accurate. That was one thing I really noticed. They were landing a lot of their shots that they were taking. So good to see that from them. It's a little interesting to see that C9 just kind of is just consistent. They're just getting top 5 finishes all the time, and this is why they're going into today. They were the second place team behind Class.
Consistent C9 is what they should be named. That's
like
probably what the C stands
nice.
for, right? A lot of people tuning in everywhere around the world. If you're here in South Korea, you can come watch our games. You can head down to the KT, or what are we calling it now? It's
KT Giga?
The KT10 Giga Arena.
There
we go. In Jamshil Seine, you can come watch here in person or, of course, watching online. Either one, of course, the best decision you can make for your day. So thanks for tuning in wherever you are. If you're watching on your cell phone in the audience, well, you're getting the best of both worlds, right? But, of course, thanks to everybody for tuning in. This is the round of 36, so things are really heating up. We've gotten a chance to see which teams are strong, which teams are not, and taking the strongest teams and put them here in the round of 36, split them up into 3 groups. We've got groups A and B going head-to-head. Just finished first-person perspective games on Miramar, and that means we're heading into round 2, which is going to be TPP on Miramar. So you get a more familiar mode for our players out here in South Korea. They do predominantly play third-person mode instead of FPP, so maybe a little bit more familiar there, but I was about to say that we're on a less familiar map for most of our teams here, and while that's still true, I think what I've been very impressed with for most of our teams is that they have really sort of dug down and put a lot of time and effort into learning how to play Miramar just as well as they can play on Erangel.
Yeah, we've seen some teams have a lot of success on Miramar. Entus Ace up until today, they had a disappointing finish in Game 1 today, but they won the first 2 games of FPP before. We've talked about them a lot. C9 seems to kind of get Miramar. They tend to finish pretty well in there. They do better on Erangel, especially in TPP, but overall they played quite well. I really worry about Centurion right now. They had a very not good finish in this one. They've been kind of struggling on Miramar. It seems like they don't quite get that map as well. Now, they typically had better results on Erangel, so I'm curious to see what adjustments they might need to make.
They will need to make one. You can't keep finishing that low. You do need to bring it back and win at least one round or place highly to make up for this. Detonator did do very well in that last round, so we're looking for consistency from some of our top teams. Myth, they managed to just kind of snake crawl their way into first place in round 1. Can they do it again? We'll have to check it out in game number 2. So I hope you all are ready. Get out there, spread the word. The APL is heading into the round of 36. The games are looking better than ever. So are some of our teams. Of course, Cloud9, one of our Jersey Dub teams there, looks very, very good. Will they continue to look good in round 2? Let's find out. Go heading back into Miramar for game number 2. Miramar, of course, means look at the sea. Instead, we'll be looking at the lack of sea there right out into the desert, so maybe a little bit of irony there. We are also getting a fantastic view of Eureka, one of Cloud9's best players.
Yeah, Eureka's all of Cloud9 is really strong, especially Catch and Suck. I've really been impressed with their performances so far, and I believe Catch is their shot caller, so not only has he been their leader in the games and making their decisions, he's also been one of their strongest slayers.
Going to be a southwest to northeast plane on the upper half of the map, so that'll make heading down to Impala and Puerto Paraíso a little bit more difficult. Of course, if you're one of those Pozo boys, you're going to be able to head up there a little bit more quickly. Drops right over Power Grid, so it's going to be great for C9, and take a look at where the rest of our teams try to go. Didn't see too much overlap there in round 1.
No, I was a little surprised. I wasn't sure what to expect. I had watched what the other teams had dropped on Miramar before and made a list, and I thought that maybe we might see Media Bridge, MCN, and AfreecaTV's Fatal drop into Chumasera together and maybe fight over it, but they didn't really fight too much there. We just saw AfreecaTV's Fatal take it. MCN went somewhere else. And really early on, we only saw a couple battles. We only saw about 4 players go down in about the first 5 minutes. So these teams seem to be just content to kind of let each other do their own thing. But, oh, what is this?
What is it indeed? We are going to have a little bit of overlap. It's Akihabara N-Count and Entis Ace finding themselves both in El Pozo. Now, checking out Picado, this is sometimes an area where teams avoid. Now we're actually going to watch Myth and Bond Spirit Gaming Luna go head-to-head again.
Right, we saw Myth come out on top, and but this time, Draft knocks Esquiliza.
Now, he will be able to crawl to safety behind these cars, and that means that Swift can drop down to try to get a res off. Now, he's going to have to avoid getting shotgunned at the same time, and Draft is actually pushing to maybe look for a flanking angle. Looks like the res will come off, though, but this is not the way you want to start off your second round.
Yeah, Draft decides to back off there. He could opt to vault over onto the street, but he's very exposed if he does that, and Esquiliza is back up now.
And that should be pointed out that this is in third person now, so you can see, you can get a vantage point to see whether or not players are rezzing, what your angles are on people behind cover, all that information you have in this mode that you wouldn't in round 1.
Right, exactly correct. So TPP, you can use your alt keys, the default key, to look around, see what's around you. You can look around corners a little bit. You can look over terrain or cover a little bit. So it is a bit of a different style, but again, it's preferred by the Koreans and many of the other Asian countries. Now, not in Thailand. Thailand, they love FPP.
Just looking at where our players have landed, we were talking about Akihabara N-Count and Entis Ace. It looks like they pretty much split El Pozo in half, so even though they're in the same town, we might not see them actually interact for a while. They both know exactly where each other are, just content to loot things up and not press the advantage too much.
I really like what we're seeing out of N-Count here. They're trying something different. What they tried in Game 1 did not work very well. They were kind of on the outskirts of Los Leones, and it didn't seem to benefit them too much. So now they're trying something a little different. Pozo's big enough that 2 teams can have it. There's enough room for 2 teams there. So I really like what they're thinking here.
For this being a western town, and the phrase, there's only enough room in this town. There's not enough room in this town for the 2 of us. I think maybe there might be. We'll see how long they keep that ceasefire going, if this is one of those no rush 20 kind of games. But focusing on the rest of the map, it does seem like all of our teams and players have dispersed to the areas that they are most comfortable with, so they're landmarks. And really, there hasn't been too much overlap. We've really highlighted the entirety of the overlap there. Myth and BSG Luna going head-to-head, and then Akihabara N-Count and Entis Ace landing in the same town. But every other team has their own town to themselves.
Yeah, the only team that's kind of in a difficult position here is the Centurions. Because Puerto Pariso is so far from that plane path, they have to drive all the way around the southern part of the continent to get to the Puerto Pariso. And that's going to take them a long time, and they're going to be coming late into the circle pretty much no matter what.
Yeah, that's one of the downsides about having a landmark on the edge of the map. That means that Centurions will just have a long way to go. They not only have to drive further away from the circle, but then they also have to loot while they're there and then head into the circle. And, maybe it's a little bit easier to find meds here in this version, but it's not going to make up for having quite such a difficult time to get into the circle.
Yeah, and here we see Shaco doing their thing in Impala. Nobody's ever contested them there. I kind of find that to maybe be a little bit curious. Maybe somebody thought after their bad day 2 they could kind of fight them there, but maybe Shaco just really knows that town, and in the scrims, Shaco just controls it so well that people are like, nah, we're not going to deal with that.
Keeping an eye on Myth, they are still going up against Bond Spirit Gaming Luna. I'm really excited to watch this head-to-head because Myth crushed it game 1 and then were able to win it in the end. That's off of getting a gun first and knocking a couple members of Bond Spirit Gaming Luna. So now that they're on more of an even footing, how is this going to look? Heads up.
Right, and this is also third person, but Spit gets Draft again.
Spit! He did get the hits on to Draft there, and because of third person, he knows exactly where he is and will be able to communicate that vantage point to the rest of his team.
Right, now Wick 2D, he knows where Spit is, so Spit can't quite finish off Draft yet, but I don't know if members of Bond Spirit Gaming Luna are going to be able to get up to
taking
draft.
a bunch of shots there. And, oh, man, Draft can't get rezzed in time, so Draft goes down. Svit capitalizing for his team. Now, Nyatica taking out Aqua 5. Beautiful knock and finish. Myth are crushing it.
Wow, Myth looks really strong. They clearly know Picado. It's awesome to see them doing well in TPP as well as FPP. Like we talked about, you got to be good in both modes to do well in this tournament.
Nyatica actually, after killing Aqua 5, is going to push even further. Isco for Bond Spirit Gaming Luna has one of the best vantage points in the entire town, but he's not immune to frag grenades, so he will have to stay careful. Svit's actually right across the apartment building from him and has a great angle on him, so he can't push out onto the balcony to get a better vantage point.
Right, that's the one kind of thing about going to the hotel in Picado is in third-person play, is that you can't use those balconies. If you get stuck out in those balconies, you're basically dead. So you can't really go out on those and try to use them to your advantage for viewing and shooting and other things like that, because you can very easily just get stuck.
I think Nyatica and Svit are going to look for the finish there. But we aren't going to get a chance to watch that as the circle closes in finally. We have to keep an eye on our teams that are looting farthest away. Of course, one of those are the Centurions. They had to drive all the way over to Puerto Paraíso, and DDSG didn't even make it all the way there. They had to actually stop along the way. Keeping an eye on Asterisk. They lost one of their members in the first 5 deaths of the game. They're still 3 alive, and they're looking for hits onto Max Still Mad.
Right, Max still kind of a middle-of-the-road finish. Same with Asterisk last round. So both of them looking to have a better performance. Asterisk definitely more of a TPP team. They had their one chicken dinner in TPP, I believe, on Arangol. So they're a little more comfortable in TPP.
As our teams finally start to make their rotations, we find Cloud9, a team that actually dropped very centrally to the circle there at Power Grid. And that has proven to be an advantage for them in almost every one of their games on Miramar. Very, very centrally located. And it puts them inside the circle as other teams push into them.
Yeah, they've definitely gotten a little lucky today with the circles. They've been inside both of the first circles, and the second circle they were, in the last game, they were quite close to the center. So we'll see how this next circle comes in. It's just starting to close in on our teams now. We're seeing teams start to rotate in. Many, like Quadro, just leaving Campo Militar. Same with Asterisk, who used to like Campo Militar, but it looks like they've kind of ceded that to Quadro this game.
They definitely gave it up. They instead went to Tierra Branca, I believe. But yeah, they did give that up. Now, Myth come out of their early engagement 4 alive. Same thing for Entis Ace as they disengaged from Akihabara to end count. So our contested landmarks didn't actually decide the game. Myth came close to getting a full squad wipe, but couldn't quite finish that off. So they do by far take the advantage out of their landmark location, and they're actually going to be moving on from that to, I guess some would say, the next phase of the game as this circle comes in.
Right, and really interesting here, we're seeing Entis Ace, Detonator, DPG already move to the middle of the circle, making their rotations very early, trying to secure those really precious areas that are in the middle. The circle tends to kind of focus around there. It very rarely will go very deep to a north or southern location. So it makes a lot of sense to get in there as early as you can.
And Danawa is doing the same thing along with Detonator that they did in round 1. They get out here to the middle of the circle. This time it's right around Crater Fields, and they find these like little nooks and crannies in the sides of the crater cliffs. They're just gonna chill there. I think Entis Ace did the same thing there as well. But now we're actually watching Suck come up on Kongdu Gilly's suit. One knock there early, but Suck's gonna try to come over the ridge, gets the headshot, and now he's actually pushing forward to look for the kill, confirms it, and might actually find another one. The headshots come down there from Hung Khan, and he will actually find a little bit of revenge, taking Suck down.
Oh, a little bit greedy by Suck there. He really wanted to finish that kill, but as a result, probably 2 members of C9 are going to go down here.
Yeah, wait, wow, Kedge is actually knocked there towards the back, and Eureka and Dinkception are nowhere near to help him out.
Yeah, I don't know if Kongdu Gilly's suit knows that C9 is there. Oh, there we go. Yep, they know. They probably heard the motorcycle and realized the other 2 members of C9 pieced out.
Very smart realization if that's in fact what their thoughts were. They do still have to be a little bit careful because Cloud9 do know where they are and are looking for a little bit of revenge, maybe. Kongdu Gilly's suit, of course, or rather one of our Kongdu sister teams that we were looking at coming into this tournament. Say, okay, well, which sister team is better? They're both very, very storied, but Will they be able to come out on top? And that engagement certainly goes their way.
Right, and neither of the Kongdu teams have been super impressive in this tournament. They've been good, but they haven't been in the top 5 in their groups very often. So we'll look to see if maybe one of them takes that next step forward and kind of shows that we're the real Kongdu team.
Well, at the end of the day, they both will be the real Kongdu team, but who is the better one, of course, is a little bit on the line. Now, we're getting our second circle here, and it is just about dead center. So this is very, very good for Danawa, for Entis Ace, for Detonator. All teams that have been very, very in the center of the circle. Let's take a look around the corner. Isco gets dropped. A perfect breach here by Myth. They crush it again and are looking good. First circle, second circle, and finally they get the revenge on Isco. They bust him out of there, and we'll take the almost complete squad wipe. I think there's one more member of Bond Spirit Gaming Luna left.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if Bond Spirit Gaming Luna can keep dropping Picado against Myth. Myth just seems to have it figured out. They're doing very well. They know where to go. They're making all the right moves. They're landing their shots. Bond Spirit Gaming Luna, if they run into Myth again in Miramar, they might have to think about another location to drop.
If they did, it would be out after the round of 36.
That's true,
So
yeah.
it would have to be in the finals because they are in different groups, A and B. So maybe this is the end of their struggles against each other, but if they meet up again in the finals, yeah, that's going to be a big problem. Let's keep a look here on Temeria. Entis Ace, they did exactly what I was talking about earlier. They get in these little tiny crevices, and this is going to be where they will make their stand for the rest of the game.
Yeah, these are very defensible positions in TPP. You can see over these little hills. You can look around. Other teams can't really move up on you without you hearing or seeing them. So really nice move by Entis Ace. They probably scouted out this location earlier, decided that this is where we want to go if the circle's in the northwestern part of the map.
Wow, look at these 6 shots some people is getting onto Actaz. Actually going to knock him there at the very end. A beautiful hit onto Kwarhate to knock him down, and I don't actually see the rest of his team near him. I could be wrong about that because of the vantage point, but this is just picturesque, not only because of the scenery, but also because of these shots coming out of Entis Ace.
Entis Ace has been really accurate at long range today. They're really landing these shots. We saw some people, and I believe it was Temeria, landing some really nice long-distance shots, and Temeria only had a red dot.
I love how Temeria is actually, or not Temeria, but some people there is actually choosing to use the 8X on his M4 instead of on his SKS in order to fire at long range.
Well, the SKS has a little more bullet drop than the M4 at long range, so you want to use the M4 a little bit more.
It should tell you something about the M4. It's a pretty good gun to have.
It's kind of maybe the best gun in the game. Not maybe, it is the best gun. There's not much debate about that.
Yeah, a lot of pros saying that, so a lot of backup there. Let's take a look at the Night Wolves. They're moving in 3 separate vehicles, I believe. Yes, Sadow's got a buddy out there. But they're going to have to drive right by Dingception and the remaining members of Cloud9, which is Eureka, who will try to snipe down at them. The van is a tank, but Night Wolves are still taking shots.
Yeah, the van takes the most damage of any vehicle in the game. It also has a lot of cover in it, so it's hard to get bullets to come through those windows and hit people. But the disadvantage is it's one of the slowest vehicles in the game.
Especially off-road.
Yeah, especially off-road. And so it's really hard to take it to the places you want without going through roads, and if you're driving on roads, you're more likely to get shot by other teams because those are kind of the hot areas, and teams know you have to go through those roads.
No, we haven't actually talked about WGS. We got a chance to see Lambutan there on your screen for a moment. WGS are quietly one of the teams in the very center of the circle. I believe Lambutan did have a chance to get a crate. Either way, it dropped right next to them. I'm not sure if nobody's picked that up yet, but keep an eye on that as this circle condenses.
Yeah, here we see Media Bridge looking to set up in this little crevice. They're kind of, this isn't as nice of a crevice that C9 has, but this one's not too bad. Or not C9, I'm sorry, Entis Ace. But that one's not too bad either. Entis Ace has just got an amazing position right now.
Oh boy. All right, so like you said, amazing position. Detonator are on the opposite side of their same little mountain, so that could be an opportunity for a little bit of action there. RG Centurions, they got a chance to loot finally and are just barely making it into the circle in time for it to reveal the next one right in the middle. Looks like our final circles will be just south of Cobreria, just east of El Pozo, just west of San Martin, just north of Power Grid.
All of those things.
This is for our radio viewers who can't see the screen. Now you know exactly where the final circle will be.
Yeah, this circle could end up being in the mountains, so it could be quite an interesting final circle we have. I don't think we've had one that's ended up in the mountains yet on Miramar.
Now DPG, Danawa is actually pushing into Bond Spirit Gaming Luna. Wicked is the 20-kill monster, highest individual out of a game of any player so far. He's just insane. And now actually DPG are going to push into him, but he's the only surviving member of his team. So he's going to be playing a little bit incognito.
Yeah, he's just hoping that DPG doesn't find him and that he can just hang there.
Oh! Aqua waits for the opportune moment. Goes for what could be a squad wipe here. He gets 3 knocks, but walks a little bit too far forward. And Larm is actually able to get the knock and the kill.
And that's it. Centurion goes down in 24th place. Our first team eliminated.
No, actually, Larm was the one that went down. And so, yes, you did call that correctly. Centurion, they struggled this game. They had to rotate far away from the circle. Barely got any time to loot. Pushed in wounded, had to heal up, and they will go down. Not Centurion staying. Wicked gets a knock, but we don't give points for those.
Yeah, and that's it for Bond Spirit Gaming Luna. They go down in 23rd. Both Centurions and Bond Spirit Gaming Luna finished very low in the first game, and they finished low again here today. Not the start they wanted, especially after both teams had a strong day in their groups. Bond Spirit Gaming Luna having a strong game day 2, and Centurions having a strong day 1 in their group.
Day 1 was a long time ago.
Day 1 was a while ago. 2 weeks. Woo! We're already into the round of 36.
Yeah,
I love
an
it.
eternity in PUBG esports.
Ether with my favorite gun, the VSS.
There are some people who will just like never play with you if you pick this gun up. Other people, they pick it up, they get the headshots, and they win the game with it. It's a very polarizing gun, let's put it that way.
I found it yesterday when I was playing some duos, but didn't get a chance to use it. I got killed before I could.
Unlucky.
Sad.
Go home and make next event mode, VSS only.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
It would be.
Oh my gosh.
I think people are glad that we don't get a chance to design those modes. Keeping an eye on Actas, who are up on the northwest side of the circle in Crater Fields, the easternmost of the craters, or westernmost of the craters. They're going to have to push into all the teams that are entrenched up on top, like Quadro, who have pushed up along the eastern ridge, and now Under comes right up with Nova, but they willing to get the cover here. Quanida's down below. He's popping a few shots, or at least he was earlier. Quadro do not have the best position here. Armor's down there. Acta's down there. They are in a little bit of a rough spot. Detonator and Stay still in their little crevices, still firing shots. School for Armor is in a little bit of a rough place here as some people sniping him down, even just with a red dot.
Yeah, Entis Ace, the circle, they're still in it. Again, they do what they do. They move to the center of the circle, they find a compound or a position they really like, and they just hold it, and that's how they have so much success. They really know these maps. They've really studied them, and they know where they want to go.
Shadow, the better hedgehog there for AfreecaTV's Fatal, helping out his, I guess, only surviving ally there as Armor tries to push in. I got to keep an eye on Quadro here because they are losing members right and left. Who is the guy getting knocks on them? I did not catch that because they looked actually to be in a great spot, but unfortunately maybe not good enough.
Yeah, I'm not too sure who's getting shots on them. It's hard to say. Maybe Acta's Indigo?
I'll have to keep an eye on the kill feed a little bit closer here. One thing's for sure, Entis Ace are in the dream spot. How do you hit headshots from there?
Gosh.
His gun is more accurate. It deals more damage than mine. I don't know what the difference is aside from him just being absolutely godlike. Edward doesn't know what hit him or from where because Entis Ace are just killing it. And by it, I mean enemy players.
Some people just being a beast with the sniper rifles. Christus is usually Entis Ace's best slayer, but they're all very, very strong in their own right. Wow, he got that kill. Unbelievable.
Yeah, MNN Yang getting taken out there at Christus's hands as well. On the other side, we're actually seeing N-Count take out Shaco, which is a little bit surprising here. We're looking at more kills come through. Gak gets knocked, and I think this is Akihabara N-Count's chance to push in, take control of this compound, and take Shaco out.
Yeah, the circle's right at their back, so they got to get moving. They got to make it quick. Shaco, they're still up, but it looks like Terror's opted to just kind of hide and be patient and let N-Count go in front of him.
School is in a little bit of a rough spot. There's about as many shots going his way as would be at actual School on Aaron Call. So look at
Okay,
there we go. The shots are landing. They looked good there for a second. I couldn't tell exactly where they were going. Youngdahl's actually taking a lot of damage there as well. Media Bridge Gaming Red, they're getting taken out behind us. Lunatic High are getting busted up by Kongdu Gillisuit. So that is what's happening in the background right now as we watch Akihabara end count. Now Exit running Shaco over.
Yeah, unfortunately for Shaco, they lost that battle early on with Akihabara end count. That allowed Akihabara end count to move ahead of them and just gatekeep them so they couldn't get back in the circle.
Now Detonator had a great position there in their little looking crevice, but Ilugo is actually going to push aggressively forward to try to get a few more kills out there as well. ROG Maximus, Somaz is the last surviving member of his team. We've already seen one ROG team go out. It's actually kind of interesting to see Maximus survive longer than Centurion.
Yeah, what's really interesting about this game so far is we're seeing a lot of mid-game fighting already. And the reason for that is that the terrain varies so much in elevation. So some of these teams have huge vantage points like Entis Ace and Detonator. So they can kind of just rain down fire on these other teams as they try to come in. So it's very difficult for some of these other teams to move into the circles.
DPG, no surprise here that Danawa are once again one of the teams closing in to the circle. Actually, let me keep an eye. Yeah, so they're going to come in through the north side. Pitbull's going to rotate in front of them, so they're going to have to be very careful. Everin thought he had a secure spot up against the wall there against the circle, but looks like it. Oh, man. How does he not die?
Making me nervous.
Guaranteed I take fall damage from both of those.
Yeah, he's got a first aid, so he's good. He's all right, but, you know, end count, you know, they're doing okay here so far. They've got 3 kills. Most of them, I believe, are on Shaco. Terra's still hanging out there, though. Oh, he managed to survive.
I think Terra might actually die here. Crow just got knocked by the circle, so that's a little bit rough.
We just saw VZ go down.
Or was it a frag grenade? I couldn't exactly keep an eye on that.
No, I don't think it was a frag grenade. It gave the skull indication, which is usually the circle. There are other things that can give that, I think.
Okay, well, either way, Crow is going to be the next to fall there for end count, so they are going to start dropping very, very quickly. Quadro goes down. I believe that is Quadro out, or Youngdahl goes down. I think that's Quadro out of the tournament. Myth getting knocked there by Shadow. I believe they have one more surviving member in Svit. No, Quadro not out of the tournament. They lose one member. Nova's pushing up here. He might be out soon. Christus kind of blows that opportunity. I thought he would have had a little bit more patience there to take Nova out.
Yeah, a rare moment there from Christus where he doesn't land at least a couple of those shots. I don't think any of them connected. So really surprising to see him miss those shots there. But Terra still out here, but AE, they've got him pinned. Now, Terra did get a kill on another member of End Count while we were waiting. He still got heals, so the battle continues there.
He's got a few heals, but realistically, he's going to get knocked by the circle very, very soon. In the meantime, Cloud9 are actually losing their last few members. I think they might just have gotten eliminated. Christus will get knocked, though. He blows that early advantage and gets taken out there. That's very surprising. And silently, the Nightwolves have pushed in to Media Bridge Red, taken almost all of them out, and survived with 4 alive.
Yeah, nice to see the Nightwolves doing well. They've got 4 up still. They're in a bit of a crossfire with about 3 other teams. You've got Kongdu, Gillisuit, C9, and a few others there. But they've got all 4 up, so let's see if they can come through. DPG. Oh, nice shooting, Gaydol.
Dude, Danawa, they've got the psychic circle vision. They know where it's going to be. They get there first, and they're utilizing that to great advantage. Now, sure, it sucks to have a couple of members of your team knocked, but they're in a safe enough position where they can get the reses off, heal up, and move into what could be one of our final circles.
Yeah, one team we haven't talked a lot about is Detonator. They're in a very nice position as well. They've still got, I believe, 3 members up, not 4, 3. But they're in a great position as well. Ooh, that's an interesting circle, because Entis Ace and Detonator are going to kind of have to maneuver to the side of that mountain. There isn't a ton of cover there, so it'll be interesting to see how they deal with that.
Also, equally quietly as the Nightwolves, Kongdu Red Dot survives with all 4 members. They went down way early in game number 1. This time, they're going the distance.
Yeah, Red Dot having a nice bounce-back game here. Now, they've got the Nightwolves on their left flank here. I'm curious to see if they're going to try to push them or just take moving into the circle as their priority.
Freaks Fatal now pushing up from the bottom. We got to keep an eye on Jaden as he hits a couple of shots on the Hong Lego. That was a really nice one right in between there. But oh, look at this angle that Akihabara and Count have with their last few players. They're going to be in a great spot for the rest of the game, but they might not have a lot of mobility if the circle doesn't go their way.
Yeah, this is one of the better games we've seen from Akihabara and Count. Now, they did come out of their group in 12th place, which isn't too bad, but they were never very flashy. They didn't get a lot of kills. This game, they're picking up some kills. They're moving in, doing some damage. I really like what I'm seeing out of them.
Yep, shout-outs to our Japanese language broadcast. It's going strong out there as well.
Oh,
now,
no.
they're going to try to make that rotation. This is what I was talking about. They're in a great spot if they can stay there, not if they have to move. 2 shots, one by Tamario, one by Gikken. Take them out. That's going to do it for Akihabara and Count.
A 10th place finish, not too bad. We're seeing a member of DPG get knocked almost outside of the circle there.
Will he be able to get res, though? Yeah, look at Red Dot. They're putting the shots through, but they do have to get into the middle of the circle. This circle does so much damage. I think it's maybe 11 damage per tick, so you cannot stay in that by any means. Entis Ace, once again, we're looking at them in their little crater. They're making it their home. They're putting some decorations up on the wall. They're playing that RPG game where you get the cosmetics that you can decorate your house with. How do you hit those shots? What a monster!
Oh my
Lego
gosh.
devastates the Freaks as they move up. They fall into the crossfire of Entis Ace and Detonator, get detonated, and now Jasna stuck all out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, AfreecaFreaks Fatal just got caught out between Entis Ace and Detonator. Detonator getting 2 of the kills, AfreecaFreaks Ace getting the other 2. And here's Gikken, the best Slayer on Detonator. He has been a monster this tournament.
He really is, and he's looking for a few more shots. Can't quite find Style. That looked a little bit off. Style makes it to cover there with Merrill. Curious still has yet to make the run. Will he go for it? How do you hit the shots through the bus?
And really impressive. Christus, oh my goodness.
Gets knocked behind one of the giant plant cactus things and is probably going to go down. Yeah, there is his untimely demise. Final 10 players, final 5 teams. OGN, Entis, Ace, and Detonator find themselves in beautiful positions amongst the hills. Can they maintain as the teams push in?
Yeah, they're going to have to come down the hill here pretty soon. They still got 30 seconds, so they're going to try to pick up as many kills as they can to allow them to move into this next circle safely, because there is not a lot of cover here.
Nova down. They end in 5th place. Now Kongdu, Red Dot try to push up the cliffs into the other teams like Detonator, like Entis Ace. Really, in all likelihood, will come down to those 2 final teams. But like we saw in round 1 with Myth taking it in the end, if you can survive long enough, there's absolutely a chance for maybe the last surviving member of AfreecaFreaks Fatal to take this home.
Some people just couldn't quite get the angle on, I believe it was a Dochi? It was Dochi, yeah, it was Dochi for Detonator. He just couldn't quite do it. But Gikken, he's got Kongdu Red Dot pinned down here.
Look at Merrill. He's coming in for the sickest flank. Merrill could devastate Entis Ace right now. He's going to get the drop on some people, and he's going to go for it right about... He's got a sick angle up here. I don't know what he's waiting for. You got to drop these shots very, very quickly. Jason's going to need to crawl in. He's going to have to stand up. He might actually just die outside the circle. Gikken goes down there. He is out. Jasna stands up. He's trying to bust some people. Got to keep an eye on him. And that's actually the knock, but Jasna goes down to the circle because he didn't move in time. Finds a few shots, but goes down. And now our final 2 teams are Kongdu Red Dot as Detonator gets taken out there. It's going to be Red Dot and Entis Ace for the final 2.
Right, Entis Ace, they've got 3 up. They should be able to get some people rezzed here. But look out, here comes Kongdu Red Dot on their flank. Will they be able to get up in time?
It's 3rd person, so Entis Ace knows about this rotation. They have one more member, but one of them was actually knocked, so they have to get the res off. And with the smoke grenade, with the lower side of this cliff, I think KDR might actually have a better vantage if these nades don't land.
Yeah, Christus tried to land some grenades, but he just didn't quite have enough room there to make it work. Tamaria trying to get the angle here. Merrill, he's going to throw some grenades back at Christus now. Let's see if he can connect.
Playing a little bit of a game of hot potato here. Christus does avoid the death, but still takes damage from Merrill's frag.
Yeah, a really exciting finish here. We got 2v3. Both teams have a little bit of cover to utilize. Merrill has a really nice big rock here. Gives him a lot of position to move around. And I believe he's still in the circle. So Entis Ace is going to have to move into the circle, whereas KDR gets to gatekeep here. So this might be a slight advantage for the Red Dots.
Grenade out on to Merrill that comes through but doesn't deal the damage it needs to. That means that it's going to give Merrill time to stim up, time to get ready to go, because he and the rest of Kongdu Red Dot, or he and Style, have the center of the circle like you mentioned.
Right, and Entis Ace is going to have to make their move now. They throw down some smokes. Really smart play by them. This should allow them to get into the circle. Merrill gets hit a couple times.
He does take a couple of shots here. He's stemmed from earlier, but Style's the one taking all the damage. Merrill goes down. Style might be the next to follow. Entis Ace push up and take round number 2.
Wow, Entis Ace getting it done on third person. They haven't had as much success in this tournament in third person. This is their first win on third person in the tournament. Really impressive to see them. Those long-range shots they were making up on top of that mountain were just incredible.
Instead of yelling GG at the end of this, we can yell CD. CD. Chicken dinner. They just got one. No surprise to anyone. Entis Ace, by far, I think the strongest, most consistent team, other than maybe KSV Kless, but you're looking for consistency. It's not good enough to just show up on one day of the tournament. You have to keep showing up. That's something that OG and Entis Ace do over and over again.
Right. It seems like we're constantly talking about 3 teams, Entis Ace, C9, and Kless. They seem to kind of have it figured out for the consistency. Maybe not Kless as much. We saw them just dominate on day 2 in their group, but they didn't do so well on day 1, even though they got a chicken dinner. Their first 3 games were not very good. But so we're seeing especially C9 and Entis Ace just be unbelievably consistent. They're very versatile. They're reacting to situations well, especially Entis Ace. I love the way they position.
You loved game number 1 or game number 2. Well, we play Miramar in first 2 games of every round, so you can come back and watch that later. But we'll be taking a quick break and then moving on to Erangel, so stick around.
그려지는 최신 기술. 그렇죠.
그래서 날라온다. 왜 죽여?
이런 식이죠. 이쪽에서 아이 컨택트가 되면서 흔들 흔들림이 지우개가 되고 행복한 사람이라서 되게 주변과 굉장히 다르네요. 제가 원래는
나이스.
우리 조금 걸렸어. 앞에 원상 붙어야 돼. 우리. 거기 누웠어. 거기 뺏겼어.
밑에.
So you better start running. So you better start running. Yeah. So you better start running. So you better start. So you better start. 'Cause there's only one king. Right now.
You get up so early. It's darker than it's light.
인텔 APL 시즌
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the APL. Here's our hostess, Lee-Hyun Kyung, who is with a member of our winning team from round number 2. Unfortunately, we'll have no interview with our Thai team Myth as they are not here. Going to go ahead and jump straight into an interview with Temeria from OGN and Ace.
오늘 좀 몸풀기는 제대로 하신 거 같나요?
네, 1라운드 때 너무 아쉬운 모습 보여서
So do you think you've warmed up enough by now? He says, yeah, we were actually very disappointed with our performance in round 1, but we're very happy with how we've improved since then in the second round. So I think the positioning has been quite excellent when we've been watching your play. And even against Kongdu Red Dot, you had a man advantage, but you were in not as great a position as they were. How did you handle that?
왼쪽 바위에 한 명 이런 이제 위치 파악은 다 된 상황이었는데 저희가 이제 먼저 움직여야 될 상황이라서
So we already realized what our location was going to look like, what the territory looked like around us. So we tried to smoke and block one side of it that we felt was weak, and try to focus on catching the left side of the rock. That was the decision that we made. So it seems like from the early stage of the game, you made a good decision to occupy that crater, the mountaintop right there. What is the key to playing around those areas in that situation?
멀리서부터 이제 견제 사격을 해서 적이 더 다가오지 못하도록 하고 이제 혹시나 이게 견제 사격하는 동안
So what we try to do is to try to keep our enemies from getting into a good position around us. So we try to keep studying their movements and sniping them, so that we could prevent them from getting close to us. You know, I think it depends on the situation. That's the difference. It all depends on the situation, case by case, what our decisions are going to be. So what kind of results do you expect? He says, you know, since we didn't play well in the first round, we still have to keep up our performance for the next rounds. That's going to do it for our interview. So a lot of great insight there. And here's the way that the standings look after our first 2 rounds. Man, Detonator crushing it through both of them. Very consistent there. Underneath them, Myth with a first place finish in round 1. Ace with a finish in round 2. And DPG always very solidly making it into the final circles.
Yeah, a really nice turnaround from DPG, doing a good job of making rotations and getting into the circle. I was also impressed that last game with Kongdu Red Dot. They got second place, and they were at the bottom of the hill. They had Detonator and Entis Ace looking down at them the whole time, and they were still able to squeak out a second place and almost get the win.
Yeah, I want to give a brief shout out to my mans and Sandbox, who had very strong finishes, but we didn't really talk about them all that much. I think the big surprises for me as we enter the bottom half of our standings, Bond Spirit Gaming Luna and ROG Centurion, they're talking about being rivals with Cloud9. They got some stuff to work on their own.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of teams that finished in the top 10 of their groups near the bottom here. Max Till Mad, M-Bridge, Media Bridge, MCN, Asterisk, all finished in the top 10 of their groups. They're struggling a little bit today.
That's what happens when you mix it up here for the round of 36. Teams having to play against players they've never seen before, or at least haven't played against in APL before, and they're definitely struggling. You can see that so far.
Right, and now we see that Entis Ace has moved up into first place. I'm kind of ignoring Kless right now since they haven't had a chance to play yet.
Right.
But Detonator and C9, Detonator's pulled ahead of C9 as well. C9 started out the day at the top of these three teams. Now it's switched. Entis Ace and Detonator have moved ahead.
Right, like you said, you can't really put too much credit in these rankings because some of the teams haven't played yet, right? So obviously that's going to shift things around. But most of the teams that have not played yet are down towards the bottom of the standings. So I'm kind of doing what I just said I shouldn't do. It's putting some stake in the standings, but this is a good look at least how the teams who have played are stacking up against each other, especially when you look at teams like Bond Spirit Gaming Luna, who have placed very highly previously, are now just really taking these L's.
And not getting a lot of kills either, which again is very surprising for them, but they ran into the buzzsaw that was Myth today in Picado.
I mean, who really expects that, right?
It was
Where
awesome.
did these guys come from?
Yeah. Well, I had actually done a little bit of research on them because when I was watching the PSS yesterday, there were some Taiwanese fans who were saying Myth is really good. You gotta know, like they're one of the top 10 teams in the world. And I was like, well, I don't know about that. But I did some research on them. There are a lot of former CSGO and other types of FPP game players, so they are a very strong FPP team. But they did well in third person as well in game 2.
Yeah, I mean, they keep going for the same strat. They land the same town as Bond Spirit Gaming Luna and dumpster them. At game 1, Bond Spirit Gaming Luna barely got a chance to hit the ground. They took the first casualty of the game. Game number 2, it's a straight-up even head-to-head firefight, and Myth just had the superior tactics. It's about entering into a situation that they faced many times before and being able to know, okay, this is exactly how we execute on winning this exchange, and they did it perfectly. So tons of credit to those guys. Very impressive showing from one of our non-Korean teams, and they continue to climb up in the standings there, even though they didn't have the most incredibly strong performance through the round of 48. Round of 36 is looking very good for them. So very, very excited to see how they do.
Yeah, and if they can keep up this performance, maybe they're going to challenge Snake TC to be the top non-Korean team in this tournament. Snake TC right now is doing quite well. They had 2 chicken dinners on day 1 in their group. They're very good on TPP. We've seen them have most of their success on TPP. Now, day 2 wasn't quite as strong for them, but maybe Myth can kind of creep up there and challenge them for that best foreign team. And Myth, if they can keep it up, maybe even have a shot at, being one of the finals teams instead of going to the wild card.
Yeah, Myth could be that team that you hear kind of shuddering, and it runs up to you and blows up your little blockhouse. Creepers. Yeah.
Creepers.
Coming on up. We'll have to keep an eye on them. As we are moving into round number 3, that means that we're going to be moving to Erangel, so it's going to be some of our lush green pastures, our amber waves of grain. All of those will be coming your way, and of course it will still be in third person. So this is where we enter familiar territory for all of our teams. It's the most popular mode out here in the Asian region. It's the most popular map because it's been around for so long, and so we really get a chance to see the S-tier practiced, hardened strategies. But what I'm most interested in to see is to see where the landmarks for all of our teams overlap, because we have teams playing against other teams that they haven't in this tournament.
Yeah, the one that I'm really interested in is Shaco and Kongdu Red Dot. They both like military base. Shaco, we saw somebody try to challenge them on day 2 that dropped at military base with them. They wrecked them. So now Kongdu Red Dot is a very solid team. They drop military a lot. So will they kind of fight it out over that? I'm really curious to see if that happens. We could have some early fighting there.
Right, and I think our other Sosnovka Island team is KSV Klest. They go to Novo, but they're not in this group, so they don't have to worry about it.
There is one team that likes to drop Novo sometime, and that's Astric.
Oh,
so
that's right.
they might go to Novo. And then we'll see if Centurion had kind of some things to say to C9 earlier. They're going to probably drop Lipovka. C9 will probably drop like Prison and Mansion. Will they decide to duke it out as they try to leave that area, depending on the circles?
You know, if we can keep an eye on landmarks and what changes, we can actually kind of see which teams want to avoid other teams because they know they share that commonality. And because we get to play a couple of games on this map, we get a chance to see what changes between maps. Teams saying, whoa, we dropped there and got busted. We got to change things up there and maybe head somewhere else.
Right, exactly. And I'm really curious to see, like, if there's going to be, like, you know, 2 or 3 teams that do something like drop Pachinki or Rozak in school. We've seen previously Myth likes to go Rozak, and that was kind of part of the reason they struggled the first couple of days is because they were there with another team, and they couldn't always get out of there cleanly like they did in Picado.
Well, we should be heading into our third map momentarily as we start to get everybody back in there. I think we had one player drop out, and now they are back in again. So everything is looking good. I'm excited to watch this. This is the round of 36. It's already started off kind of with a bang, not only literally, but also in the sense that the games have been very exciting. I think especially game one has just been cream of the crop.
That last circle was so exciting to have. I mean, it's like I said, it's kind of an Erangel-esque circle, so you don't get to see that on Miramar too much. So watching the teams kind of like feel each other out and snake it out, and we saw a lot of players make it very long, which made it very exciting.
It's like I was back on my old Nokia phone, snaking through the grass. Here you can see the teams and players in the KT10 Giga Arena preparing for their first map on Erangel. It's our third round of the day. Only one more after this for teams to solidify their place in the top of the standings. Of course, this is the round of 36, so everything matters. It's all coming down to this, especially for those guys, the Centurions. They have a lot of room to make up.
Yeah, definitely. Centurions kind of been maybe the biggest disappointment of the day. They played so well on day one in their group, but we'll see. And this is Quadro. Looking good. They're looking happy. They're feeling good. All right, here we go. We're going to jump into our next game, TPP on Erangel.
Got a little bit of drums and what an intro.
I was making some drum motions with my hands.
Drumming
really into it.
We're getting into our third round of today's games. Third round of the round of 36. Woo. Here you can check out Cloud9. They have had strong performances in the round of 48. Round of 36 might not be theirs. They've managed to get high up in the standings, but haven't picked up a win just yet. Astric, a team we're going to have to watch out for if they share landmarks on that military base.
Yeah, and VZ had that awesome squad wipe on day one. That was so exciting. He had vehicles moving up on the side of him. Probably one of my favorite moments in this tournament so far.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 took them all down. We'll see if he can repeat that. As we get into our game, the plane heading out. It looks like it's going to be a northeast to southwest finish on the eastern side of the map. The route coming out, Quadro, of course, no surprise, the first out of the plane. C9, of course, following along with Shaco. So Shaco are not going to drop towards the south of the map as they have usually shown. They usually do go to that military base, changing their landmark, changing it up for the round of 36.
So that's our first big surprise here. I'm curious to see if Lunatic High decides to go over to George. They normally like to go to Georgia Pole, but this is a pretty long drop for them, so it'll be interesting to see how they get over there. Of course, we're seeing the Centurions go to Lipovka. Africa Freaks Fatal, they like Milta, so they're going to head over there. Media Bridge, Red, they're a farm team. They're the salt of the earth.
Indeed they are. Salting the earth, of course, not what you want to do on the farm.
And Entis Ace doing their normal drop here. Yasnaya, that's been their landmark so far this tournament for sure. So I'm curious to see, are Shaco going to Severny? Is that their plan? I didn't see when I was doing prep that any other teams would go Severny normally in the first 2 rounds. So maybe this is where Shaco's going to go.
Well, also, I mean, George is just totally open, and we don't know where the circle is yet. It was an eastern half of the map drop, or a route for the plane. So we do need to see whether or not the circle is over there, because it could really screw up some of the teams towards the southern end of the map. And here is our circle on the screen, and it is way across the map on the opposite side. So if teams want to make a break for it, head over to George, head over to Gatka. Those are going to be prime locations for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think any team that makes a beeline over to that western side of the map right now could do quite well. But here we see Gaydol. Ooh.
He does have a gun, but
he's got two members of Kongdu Gillisuit.
Gets in the car just to the last second, makes it in there. But we already had the first casualty of the game. I believe it was Embridge Red that wound up, or one of the members that wound up getting taken out. Oh, no, actually, Aqua just getting knocked there. So the first deaths were not on Embridge, but a casualty that they will have to come pick up. Meanwhile, we're having some, I don't know, Twisted Metal Black-esque fights shooting out of cars. They're all zooming around that area. We'll have to maybe check that out again as we check out Myth's Svit, who's currently looking at no one.
Yeah, he's got the double barrel. There is a member of ROG Maximus kind of near him, but not really yet. So he's just playing it safe. He heard the footsteps. Now he sees him.
Yeah, and I think he's going to identify exactly where that member is. Look at what WGS are doing. They're actually going to rotate immediately straight around into the middle of the circle. So they're going for positioning first, looting second. Maybe they just got the guns they wanted and they're already making a break for it. But other teams will start to follow suit. The exceptions will, of course, be the teams whose landmarks are on the eastern side, who will have a very long way to go.
Right. One interesting thing to note, C9 didn't do their normal drop near Mansion and Prison. They decided to go up towards Stalbert. Very intriguing move by them. So we won't maybe see early fights between them and Centurions like maybe they thought.
ROG Maximus making a rotation right by Myth here, so I think it's Svit that we'll see every single one of them just run on by the little, I don't know, herd of lemmings following one another right by. The loot on Stalbert, very good now that that military base was added. I'm not sure if it's quite enough for 4 players. You can always push down to the warehouse at the bottom, but it doesn't even look like C9 are doing that. They actually sent Ketch south and Eureka north, so it's not like they had to share the loot on top amongst 4 people.
Yeah, Ketch is over at the water tower facility that's just to the southwest of Stalbert. Not a bad place. It has 6 or 7 houses in it, so it's got decent loot, and like you said, the warehouse, it looks like Dingception might be making his way there, has decent loot as well.
So we saw Quadro land at the north half of the northeast half of the map. They were the first team out of the plane, and then they drove towards the northwest half of the map to go ahead and get the loot up at Zarki. So they're actually going to have to push down through maybe 4 other teams, because Lunatic Eye actually rotated first into South George.
Yeah, Zarki can be a little bit difficult. It's nice to loot because you pretty much know that no one else is going to mess with you there. But you got to try to go through George sometimes, and that can be a bit messy. There's usually 2 or 3 teams that drop there. One in South George, one in North, and then maybe one in like East George near the crates and the warehouses and that kind of thing.
So Akihabara and Count have actually chosen to make North Georgia pull theirs. The southern part of North George is being taken by Actos, and I think that's the face-off we're going to watch right here for the time being.
Yeah, it looks like Everin and Curate are kind of doing a little dance around each other. Everin's up on the roof, and Curate is down on the bottom floor, so maybe we'll see Everin get a few shots in.
Neither one of those teams that we were mentioning had very good loot, because they had to drive basically the entire map to be able to get to George. So they'll be picking up as much as they can to try to get as kitted as possible, because they're maybe a little bit behind teams that dropped into good locations. Things like C9 who dropped Stalbert, got pretty good guns early on. Now, this is Kongdu Gillisuit finding kills onto Sato. He looked a little bit alone there, but got to move on to check out Cariod.
Yeah, Nightwolf's kind of in a tricky position here. They're in between Media Bridge as well as Kongdu Gillisuit, so this is a little bit tough for them, and they already lost Sato, but
It's all going to try to cut his losses.
Yeah, he's just getting
the team.
out.
Yeah, peace, man.
Nope, I'm on.
He is out of there. Freak's trying to roll up, but this situation might be a little bit hotter than what they imagined. Keep an eye on Shadow. He's going 140 miles an hour, still taking shots. A very, very fortunate man as he survives with just the last sliver of HP.
Yeah, but now he can't make any mistakes driving that motorcycle every once in a while.
Oh, he did get knocked.
Oh my gosh.
He actually did finally get caught. Hung Kong finds those shots, impeccable shots. And I think, what was that, a Scar that he found that kill with? Yeah, nice knock.
Yeah, 2 early kills for Hunkon, looking to get it done this game with the Scar. I've been really liking the Scar more and more now that I've started to use it a little bit. Actually, sometimes I even kind of prefer it over the M4 because at longer distances it's a little more accurate, has a little higher bullet velocity, so you don't have to quite lead your targets as much. But both guns really, really good.
5 kills in 6 minutes. Just heating up.
Woo!
I know,
Feel
right?
it in my belly. Oh wait, that's my lunch.
Yeah.
Oh.
I usually confuse my lunch with kills. Favorite that's I can't. If I had a nickel for every time, I would have no nickels.
No nickels?
No.
Oh.
No.
I'd have like 5.
Well, I already have no nickels because it's not a Korean currency, so
That's
that
true.
would be pretty useless out here.
Yeah. You can get the 50 won coins. They still have those, but they don't use them in most places. Oh, Jinsol, he got knocked.
I think he's gonna die from the car explosion if that
Yeah.
actually is.
Yeah, Sonic's got some shots on him, and I think
Who can blow up the car first?
Yeah.
It's actually Sonic that kind of kill steals there, taking out Jinsol with the explosion at long range.
Yeah, that's 2 members down for the Nightwolves. They're trying to rotate into the circle. Looks like they might opt to take that compound just in between Pachinki and Gatka there. And oh, they're going to keep going. Okay, that's fine. You guys might get shot again, but it's okay.
The screen we were showing there essentially is the center of the circle. So we don't have the blue really cutting too many teams off right here. Everybody that landed on the military base have already rotated. It's Kongdu Red Dot are just kind of gatekeeping the bridge right now as they've pushed across onto the mainland. See them. They're, I think what's the plan here? Nobody's coming down there.
I think they might have accidentally ran somebody over or accidentally crashed, it looks like, because there's nobody over there to shoot them.
Oh, man, look at Ghillie Suit. Voichi really kicking into high gear here, knocking out Zerang, and I really feel like the Nightwolves are sort of the cannon fodder of the early game in round 3. They have run through maybe 4 or 5 different teams and lost 1 member almost every time. Looks like Uri got a knock on DG98 earlier and is now pushing forward to secure the kill.
Right, here comes Max Still Mad Uri. Got it. Over. Double barrel. Boom. Thank you.
Cashing in. I'm not sure how much loot there is to pick up there, but it's going to be good enough to push forward just to secure that kill. So already we're down 10 players, pushing ever forward.
Yeah, we're seeing most of the teams making their way into the circle. No one looks like they're just going to hang out outside the circle this time. Even Quadro looks like they're already rotating in. C9's coming in a little later than they normally might, but that's okay. They came from Stall Bar instead of Mansion and Prison. And here we see Bond Spirit Gaming Luna squaring off against Maximus.
They've not been able to really prove what they're worth so far on Miramar. So now that we're on Erangel, they really are trying to get anything that they can. But Maximus jet away on that motorcycle faster than Bond Spirit Gaming Luna can get them in their sights. So won't be finding anything for a while.
Yeah, Maximus opting for position instead of trying to fight Luna there. Probably the better move. Give yourself some time. And Centurion, Heimin, already going down. Another rough start for them today.
Yeah, they were trying to break into an area Lunatic High had secured, and they're just going to get punished for it. Lunatic High were the first team to rotate into South Georgia Pole ever, at least our game today.
Right.
And they secured the area. Centurions have by far been the team that have been struggling the most. I want to say they
today, definitely, yeah,
are at risk of being our first team eliminated here. We're going to have to keep an eye on them. This is actually Myth who are taking shots. Nyatica, the player that was so clutch to give them their first victory, gets knocked off the motorcycle. Equiles falls down as well.
Ooh, not great for Myth there. They're probably going to lose both those members. An unfortunate start for them. Whoa. Easy there, Tribike. Easy.
Esquilucia. I need to really work on that pronunciation. It's gonna come out differently every single time.
Is that a Spanish word?
Could be. I mean, they're a Thai team, so I'm guessing probably not.
Yeah.
But on the off chance that it is, I'm just going to try to do my best with the pronunciation. The 2 surviving members of Myth do make it to the very center of the circle, so you do have to keep an eye on their team name, but it's only going to be half as strong.
No, it's hard for you at home to see this, but on the map, everybody is moving. This is crazy. Everybody's kind of doing the same strategy here. This could get really wild really fast. Oh my goodness.
We're going to have a little bit of Grand Theft Auto here. Wookie on Quadro, they did lose one member, but Wookie, of course, is still one of the ones alive. Embridge are just coming in from the southern side of the circle. Asterisk is actually shooting at Detonator as they try to rotate as well. We've got a ton of movement, like you said, Paperthin, and I think it's really going to benefit teams like WGS, who were first to the center of the circle and have maintained that strong position.
Yeah, exactly correct. WGS as well as DPG both were in the center of the circle already, so they'll be able to kind of gatekeep these teams as they come in, maybe pick up some kills on the way if they're lucky.
Freaks and Entis Ace choose the same exact compound, but it's a 2 versus 4 here. That strangely, Entis Ace do not want to fight, it looks like.
Yeah, Africa Freaks, they've kind of got a little bit of a better building. It's got a little more cover.
Oh, the grenade bounced into the room! Ooh. Oh no, I thought it actually bounced off that crossbar.
It almost did. I think it just kind of tinked off the edge of that crossbar there. It just got through. I saw it too, and I thought it was coming back in. Whew.
I was very worried for a moment. We've all had those hot potato kind of situations.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So the Freaks and Entis find the same compound, but Entis actually opts to piece the scene and head towards the western side of the circle. So this is going to be the houses on the beach.
Yeah,
I think on the east side of the map, or west side of the map.
Yeah, I think Entis realized it might not be worth it for them to fight, because even though they might take down both of the Africa Freaks Fatal, they might lose a member in the process, and it's not really worth it to do that at this point in the game.
Kongdu are driving right by their compound, and so I think that's why they made the decision to drive towards the cliff area, just so that they would be a little bit more isolated. But that's not an incredibly well-defended position. It's not like there's a compound. There's really just only that tiny little shack right above them.
Yeah, there isn't a lot of buildings or other things you can use in this spot. Now, there are a lot of trees, which can be kind of an advantage or a disadvantage, because it can be hard for people to see you from behind, but it can also be hard for you to see people from the other direction as well. So you can get kind of snuck up on sometimes.
Keeping an eye on some of our other teams, we're watching Armor right now. They still have all 4 players left alive, and they're a team that has placed very highly previously, but hasn't really shown up today. Actaz, the other team that I get confused with Armor a lot, are actually all they are the team that has chosen to loot outside the circle, just so that they can stay safe and sound. But as the blue pushes in again, they'll need to start to think about rotating in.
Yeah, and kind of interestingly here, we've got one member of Sandbox, Recon, who's just leaving Pachinki. He's a little bit he's running on his own. He doesn't have a vehicle. I'm not sure if he needed some more loot or there's some kind of strategy here, if he got just delayed somehow. Maybe he got stuck when other people were in there gatekeeping him out. But his bomb is making his way in. Kind of a little unusual. The rest of Sandbox is already in the circle, pretty centrally located, so I'm a little surprised to see him just kind of out there.
A little bit split. Now, Bond Spirit Gaming, Luna, and Kongdu Gaming, Ghillie Suit exchanging shots. Cloud9 trying to pick off some of Maximus as they rotate.
Yeah, a nice position here for Cloud9. I really like Gatka. It gives you a lot of information over kind of all the directions of you. There's mostly fields around it and other things. So I think that's a good place to start from. They can kind of know where teams are moving from, to their north, to their west, to their south, and then they can kind of make the decision where they want to go after that.
Let's see where the circle goes immediately. Team starting to rotate, realizing it's towards the north quadrant of the previous circle. Entis Ace immediately straight to their cars. They got to go for the rotation. Same thing for Kongdu Red Dot. So we see 2 of our teams that have placed the highest going for the rotation as quickly as possible.
Yeah, the Freaks might have a few shots here on them, but Clocky decides to stop while Style and Curious keep going. I'm not sure what they're thinking there. Entis Ace, but here's
now it's Shaco. H2RU out on the road. Terror up on the mountain. 805 on the mountain top, dealing a lot of damage. But can they find the knocks that they need? Some shots onto Curious, but he doesn't take critical damage or pop out of his car. But the rest of Entis, they're actually kind of stalled out there. It's only a buggy, and so those are very vulnerable to be from 2 shots from on high. They're actually going to drive them into the water to ensure that they stay alive. But Christus gets knocked just as he enters.
Wow, a great position here for Shaco to just wreck Kongdu Red Dot and Entis Ace as they try to come into the circle. It's nice to see them getting some kills and doing some things today.
Entis Ace forced to ditch in the water. That was a clutch shot call to make, but I think it's one that they really had to. Sandbox getting knocked, or 2 of their members knocked. K5H has to do a double res, and Simon's pushing in from, or Shinon's pushing in from on top.
Yeah, WGS here with a nice play to get, whoa, that grenade, it was close. Didn't quite make it in. Here we see Shinon looking to push into the building. He knows they're rezzing. Oh, that guy's down. Oh, K5H
getting taken out there. And I think that might just be the end of Sandbox. Yes, indeed, they are going to go out in 23rd place, almost 23rd place.
They still have Bomb.
Wait, what? Where is? Oh, okay. Bomb is way out there. How did he get so far separated from the rest of his team?
I don't know. It's really unfortunate for Sandbox Recon there, but WGS doing a great job pushing in there. Shinon getting it done with the Groza. Here we see Mbridge and Armor kind of going at it. Edward, oh, he gets ripped by Carriod.
Yeah, Carriod finds the Wayward Son down there on the left-hand side of the Jeep, takes him out, and
Carriod, my wayward son.
He is the wayward son.
Yeah. That is really funny.
He's making it happen. Did he? Oh no, that was a energy drink bottle. I thought it was a grenade.
Sorry, I broke you there.
You did. I was like, wait, what do I call the things that they drink that give them energy? An energy drink, perhaps?
Maybe.
Trying to pop the tire, just make that you guys a little bit less effective. Got an eye on the backside of.
So this is an interesting position here for Shaco. They've got Asterisk now. Entis Ace was in the water, but it looks like they've managed to maybe kind of get out of it a little bit, and they're trying to gatekeep on top of this mountain, doing a pretty decent job so far. But now they've got Asterisk pushing up from their southern flank, and VZ. He's pretty darn good. We've seen him be the strongest player for Asterisk so far this tournament.
He's made squad wipes happen before. He's going to have to do it again here for Asterisk as he pushes up on Shaco. Just made this mountain theirs.
Yeah, I really like this from Shaco. They moved into the circle safely this time. They're getting some kills. They're kind of playing more of their normal game that we saw them have success with on day 1.
Shaco, actually a little bit more split up than I remember. I thought they were all 4 on top of the mountain, but it looks like 2 members have actually pushed down. Now, Asterisk members are actually trying to push maybe up the mountain to Shaco, but I think Shaco might be ready to go, so we'll see. Keep an eye on that struggle as we watch C9 take on DNG.
Yeah, and Quadro. They've got
DPG.
Yeah, DPG, Quadro, and C9 all kind of in this little area in the swamp here. DPG looks like he's going to finish off Wookie.
So Quadro's starting to drop really, really quickly as DPG pretty much running him over. Now Youngdal is the last surviving member. Youngdal and Hong Il Dong trying to stay alive here. They're both taking shots. Cloud9 still have all 4 alive. This is a crazy crossfire we're seeing.
Can he get those shots? It's so close. Oh, not quite. There just isn't quite enough room to get through there. Hong Il Dong having a very nice day today. 2 kills, 4 kills altogether for DPG, and Quadro goes out 21st place. Now we see Red Dot. Oh, they blow up the vehicle, and down goes Papi Rio.
Media Bridge Red there getting taken out, or Papi Rio rather getting taken out there. Sick rips as he tries to drive on by. They're still actually trying to drive into a position down there at the bottom, but I don't know if that's exactly where they want to be. Style gets knocked there, but there's plenty of members of Kongdu Red Dot right behind him to try to pick up the slack. If they want to toss some nades right down there, a beautiful frag does hit Take and take him down to below half.
Here comes another one from Curious. Let's see if it can get him. Oh, not quite. That one doesn't connect. But it's gonna be tough to get Style.
Terror, where is even Terror? I did not see him walk up there, but there's just so much action going on, continually throwing these frags, one right after another.
Yeah,
Curious has himself smoked up, so he should be safe.
Yeah, he doesn't know where Jungang is exactly. He knows he's down there somewhere, but he doesn't quite have the information to know where to put those grenades.
Songjang taking out Nalbin in that previous engagement that we were watching. As we check the overview, I love this oversight because it shows us exactly how strong our centrally placed team are. This time, we're finishing.
No.
Okay, we're finishing things up there. That's going to be Shaco's, H2RU, and Terror getting both taken out there. So that is going to be the end of it for them, I believe. Yeah, I think that's it for Shaco.
Yeah, I believe that was their last member. Another unfortunate situation for them. The circle wasn't too kind to them this time, and there was a lot of teams on that southwestern part of the circle for them to go through, and it doesn't quite work out.
Detonator with the retribution kills as they do face a very difficult route. I think they were, if I can remember where they were placed. I mean, where did Detonator go? I was having a little bit of a struggle keeping track of them.
I'm not sure where they went. I don't see them on the map right now. Detonator, where are you? We're not playing hide and go seek.
So they're eliminated. It's like, why don't I see them on the screen?
There we go.
They're all
dead.
Because they're dead.
Because they're dead. WGS with another nice position here. They're kind of in the middle of the circle. They're doing a good job this game of getting out ahead of things and kind of being proactive. I really like what I'm seeing. Now, it's going to be tough for C9 to move out of here. They've got Bond Spirit Gaming, Luna, and then WGS in the way to get the circle. This is going to be a challenge for them.
Actow's getting a sick rip onto enemy as he stands up to try to get shots backwards, but neither player actually losing their life. Astron for Lunatic rotating around to the side as we focus on Bond Spirit Gaming Luna. Wicked is one of their strongest players. He gets so many kills, and he has actually has yet to get one this game as he fires shots. Bond Spirit, of course, right towards the middle of the previous circle, but might now have to push a little bit further north through WGS.
Yeah, DPG is in a really tough position here. They're getting gate kept by Bond Spirit Gaming Luna and Max Till Mad. It's really tough for them to get in through there.
Enemy getting knocked, Style getting knocked there as well. Lunatic High having some struggles as well as DPG, so got to keep an eye on that. Freaks just get knocked out there, so I think they finished in 18th place. 17th place goes to, I believe, Embridge. You get completely wrecked there, so Freaks, Embridge, I believe, are both out.
Yeah, this is an interesting circle. It's pretty close to where the circle ended on Group A Day 1 Game 3, Game 4, where Snake TC got a win, where they were out in those hay bales that were kind of in the middle of this circle right now. So I'm curious to see what teams try to do with this position, since we've kind of seen it before. Lunatic High, though,
slowing down a little bit. Yeah, I think they are going to get the res onto Conan, so they should be able to stay 4 alive. They're smoked on top of a hill. Lunatic High actually kind of silently in the best position. They're not in the center of the circle, but they have an amazing spot up on the only one of the only high ground locations in this final circle.
Yeah, and it was Max Till Mad that had that position in Game 4, Day 1, where Snake TC won, and I do really like that position as well, but they got a little unlucky because Catch was on their right flank by himself, just kind of sneaking in there, and he managed to wipe 2 of them before they could finish him off.
Maximus out of there. Merrill actually waiting to run in. Hongdu Red Dot looked like they were in an amazing position, but I believe that Merrill is he their only surviving member?
I believe he is, yes.
Songjang also from Entis Ace struggling to make it to the middle of the circle. I think he might also have that same similar problem of, you know, how do I make it in? The rest of my team is dead. Do I just want to try to survive? Jaden, I think I actually said that Africa Freaks got out earlier. No, Jaden's still alive. He's just way far out of the circle, trying to push in desperately.
Yeah, Lunatic High with a really nice position here. They have a very high position compared to most of the other teams that are in this circle. And I believe they are not quite going to still be in it. They're going to have to make a move in about 30 seconds here. But WGS, they've got those 2 houses. That's a sick position to have.
WGS have by far the best position of basically everyone. I said that Lunatic High's spot is good, and it is. I would say maybe second best because they have the high ground. But WGS have a centrally located compound. It's the only one there, except for maybe the couple of tiny houses C9 are in. But those should not be in the second circle. Now, Centurions are going to try to make their last-ditch run into the center. I think they're not. Okay, no, they're not. They're just trying to push up to that compound.
Centurions having a much better game here. Now, they lost a member really early on in this game, but they've managed to keep all 3 up, so they're going to have a top 10 finish. They badly needed that.
Indeed, they do. WGS, we're just watching them kind of gatekeep the center. Uri getting knocked out means that Hancock will have to push up to try to res him. And he will do that, but I don't know if this is the time. Wicked coming up from on high, but no, he gets busted. How did that happen? An immediate knock there. Uri trying to get res, but instead he goes down, or he goes down. Hancock will go down immediately. Previously, Bond Spirit Gaming Luna. Very surprising that they would get knocked at the top of the cliff, but in the end, justice is served, and Uri and Hancock get taken out.
Those were some insane shots by Hancock. He was very much almost 90 degrees below the Max Till Mad guys, and he manages to get one of them. Really nice shooting.
I want to see that from his perspective. Draft, ooh, can't take fall damage when you're outside the circle like that. He drops down to the low ground off the mountain and is now going to be pushing in. I love that we keep returning to WGS because they are just in the best position. We're going to see them take pot shots at everyone pushing in.
Yep, they've got awesome positional advantage there. They can see a lot. They're going to be in the circle. We'll see where this next circle goes. C9 managed to get through the gauntlet and get into some nice position as well. ROGC, they're going to have a little bit of a tough time. C9's going to be able to kind of see them over there. Lunatic High's taking some shots at them, but here they go. So the Centurions are making their move. They're going to push C9. They want to fight.
Oh no, but is it going to be successful? Suck, both going down there. Hunsock and the rest of ROG Centurions dominate Cloud9 in their own crate.
And this is what the Centurions wanted. They wanted to beat C9 at their own game, and they're doing it. Late game, they're coming in and almost wiping the entire squad. Now, Eureka, he just got catch-up. Hunsuck coming around the corner. He misses, but he gets catch.
He's going to be able to reload that S12K, but Eureka pushes out. I don't know if Cloud9 are going to be able to, how much they're going to be able to salvage there. Hunsuck coming in for what looks like maybe round 2.
Yeah, Hunsuck, he's got this S12K. This gun has been great this tournament. Oh, but he gets knocked.
He finds the shots, though, so he wins that individual duel, but I don't know how many other members of his team are there to revive him.
Yeah, just Lamb. He's making a move.
Yeah.
Or Larm, sorry, Larm. He's making a move to try to get Hunsuck, but we saw another member of ROGC get taken down in the meantime. Wow, what a fun battle there. ROGC, they just played their game. That's what they do. They rush you down. If they want to fight you, then you got to fight.
Indeed, you do. Draft dying there at the hands of Asra, and I think that might be the last one. A crate landing right in the center of the circle on Lunatic High. Come on, like, does it get any luckier than that?
That's amazing, right on top of that UAZ.
Not only do they have their side of the circle, but they also have a crate right next to them. Hand-delivered by the PUBG gods.
Now look at this. Lunatic High is in the position that kind of Snake TC was. They've still got 4 members up.
Did that crate land on the UAZ?
Right on it.
So I think because the crate never hit the ground, the parachute will never disappear.
I don't know. You might be right.
Yeah.
There might be some glitch there.
Yeah, so I think the parachute just stays along with the crate. I'm not sure exactly what was in that crate, but it's going to be sick for Lunatic High. They have all 4 alive. This is looking like a repeat of round 1 from the end of the round of 48.
Yeah, Iceco gets a kill on the Sonic there.
Takes him out. They finish in 4th place.
Ooh.
Bond Spirit Gaming. Luna, they struggle so hard in the first 2 rounds, and now they're one of our final.
And they got 3rd place. But this is it. WGS, 2 members up. Lunatic High, 4 members up. Pretty equal positions in terms of cover and what they have, but Lunatic High having the numbers advantage. This looks to be their game to win.
Asran pushing forward, Yeka finding a shot. Asran drops prone, so he will take cover in the same foliage that we had be so effective in round number 1. Finally, I'm not sure how that crate magically teleported off the van, but it's down on the ground right there. So Lunatic High by far in the better position. They have 4 versus 2. This is their power play.
Yeah, but maybe Yeka and Lambutan can get something done. Yeka gets the knock on time. A really nice rip by him. He's going to try to finish it. Can't quite, but he also gets the knock onto, I can't see the name, Conan.
Yeah, so Conan and Timer down. That instantly halves the advantage. And actually, it's a higher health total for WGS if they hadn't lost Lambutan. So Yeka going to go for it. He's making the big push. This will define so much for WGS. Yeka can't make it to the hay bale. The match is over, and it's a chicken dinner for Lunatic High.
Yeah, really nice play there by Lunatic High. They had that high position near the power tower. Is that the right word?
Power tower?
The tower of power. And then they just moved in and they did something that we saw Snake TC do. Get into these hay bales, get cover early. The circle came in there. They had all 4 members up. Really nice game.
Impeccably well played there by Lunatic High. They and, I think, what was it, MPG, Media Bridge? It was WGS, right.
WGS.
Just had such impeccable positioning. They basically stayed in the center of the last 3 circles.
Right.
So beautifully well played there. Bond Spirit Gaming, Luna, I think the biggest movers and shakers there, along with ROG Centurions. Both of those teams had dismal finishes in rounds 1 and 2, and they really made up for it here in round 3.
Yeah, and the Centurions get 7 kills, kind of playing more of their game, and we got to see most of those kills come at C9's misfortune.
That's true. So Cloud9 need to wrap it up. We are going to wrap it up and roll into a commercial break.
그렇죠.
그래서 날아온다고 왼쪽에
이런 식이죠. 이쪽이 다 아이 컨택트가 되면서 네, 김진 선생님이 지우개가 되고 행복한 사람이라서 사실 지우개가 굉장히 다르네요. 네, 제가 원래는
There's only one king.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the KT10 Giga Arena for APL Season 1 Round of 36. We just finished up our third round with a victory for Lunatic High.
Yeah, that was a really, really fun game. WGS and Lunatic High positioning themselves very well early on. Lunatic High comes out with the chicken dinner. WGS gets second as a result. And we also saw some good games from Bond Spirit Gaming Luna and ROG Centurion, who really needed to step it up today.
They definitely did. ROG Centurions finally meeting their rivals, Cloud9. They busted them.
Yeah.
Not even close. Beautiful shots. Very, very confident. And they needed it because both they and, who was it? Bond Spirit Gaming Luna had placed very low, so it's good to see them climb back up. Still, you know, I think we got to shout out the good things and the bad things, right? Myth winning first round. That round, they go out in almost last place. A tragedy for Myth as they show that they have what it takes to win, but their consistency just isn't there yet.
Right, exactly. Now, we're still seeing Detonator coming out ahead today. Even though they didn't finish very well in that last round, they have the most kills so far, 24, and they had two very strong finishes in round 1 and 2.
Getting a look at our final, or at the bottom of the standings, we are going to eliminate teams at the end of this round of 36 and send them down to a wild card match. So these teams at the bottom really do have to step it up there. Shaco, I think we're starting to see their true colors. They might have had a great day number 1 in the round of 48, but they just don't seem to be able to keep it up.
Yeah, and that's really too bad. That would have been a really fun storyline to follow, to see them kind of be this unknown team that qualified through the open qualifiers and get ahead. But here we see our overall standings. C9 moves back up now. They had a pretty good finish there, and they get ahead of Entis Ace, who did not have quite as good of a finish. They kind of got caught out there between Shaco and Asterisk and had to go into the water. Detonator is still in third, so these top 3 teams just kind of shuffling around.
Anthony Plus, man, they're just falling further and further. No, of course they're not playing, but it is reassuring to see the top team still up at the top. Myth falling a little bit further down there in the standings. Shaco even further. So you really got to keep your eyes out for that. Kongdu Gillisu climbing up after that last game, but you know, they have a long way to go. So still a team to keep an eye on. Akihabara end count at 23. Need to step it up, and they are, with a 200-point finish there in round 3.
Yeah, Akihabara end count did something a little different there, and I liked it. They went into North George, and they took a position, and we saw this kind of in Game 2, where they went to El Pozo with Entis Ace instead of doing these split drops. I think this is more suited for them, is to go somewhere, you know, in a normal location, not split up, stick together, and they're having slightly better results because of it, and I'd like to see them continue building on that.
I would like to see that too. Probably also all of their fans, who are also probably watching this kind of with bated breath. This is the highest placing Japanese team in this tournament. Now, Detonator are a Japanese organization, so still with a lot of Japanese fans, but they are a Korean roster under that organization. So cool to see a lot of international teams being represented. Tomorrow you'll get a chance to watch Snake, our other very highly placing international team from China, have done very, very well. Yeah. 2 chicken dinners in 1 day, just insanely impressive. So can't wait to get a chance to check them out. But by and large, the top of the table is dominated by these Korean powerhouses. I cannot wait to get a chance to watch the KSV teams go up against each other in tomorrow's matches. Yeah. That's going to look super good. So all I'm trying to say is that today's games have been good, but you don't want to miss the next few rounds of the tournament that are coming up, or next few rounds of the round of 36. Yeah. They're going to look even better.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited for day 2. This has been really fun. We've seen teams kind of do a little bit of different things. They're not always dropping in the same places. Really interesting to see C9 relinquish the Mansion and Prison. They went to Stahlbar instead. And most of the teams kind of did something similar, but Shaco had to do something different too. They had to go to Severny instead of military base. So it's kind of fun to see how teams have to adapt to different situations that they're thrown into on a day-to-day basis here in the APL.
That's right. So we're entering our final game of the day. We got a little bit ahead of ourselves talking about the next days, but they're just so exciting, so it's hard to resist. But we are entering our final game. It is once again going to be third-person perspective on Erangel. So we get a chance to kind of get a little bit of a redo on that previous game. And I love that we have a sort of a control group, right? You can have a game exist, look at the standings from that game and be like, okay, so if this is the way it happens once, how does it happen the second time or the third time? Because it's hard to compare the way that today's games are going against our previous games because we have different teams competing against different teams. So it's like, oh, everything's crazy. It's all changing up here in the round of 36.
Yeah, I one thing that I thought was really interesting from that last match was it was about the third or fourth circle. We saw instantly, as soon as that circle changed, all the teams started making their way in. We've mostly seen some teams just kind of be willing to hang out on the outsides, not even come in through the blue initially, like Cacao and some other teams. Quadro was doing it on Miramar, but every team right away just went for it. And I think we're seeing that the meta's been kind of figured out for this tournament, that these center locations are very powerful as Entis Ace, C9, Detonator, today WGS, and even DPG are proving that you can have success by being forceful and getting into those circle positions sooner.
That's right. And so I feel the biggest secret to success so far for our teams has been you loot an area where you don't have to, like, travel somewhere else and then, you know, make a secondary loot stop. So you get your loot in one area and you beeline it straight for the center of the circle. Which team won last game? It was Lunatic High. It's a rhetorical question. And they made it to the center immediately. They were the first team into George, and they just claimed that central area of the circle for the rest of the game. You saw teams like OGN Entis Ace, right? An incredibly good team. They got stuck outside the circle and were one of those teams that had to immediately move. They got busted by Shaco as they drove by their mountains. So it just goes to show if you are the first to the middle of the circle, that is just such a high priority. And I think we'll see as the tournament continues, more and more teams prioritize that.
Yeah, I think, I'm really happy to see it because I've been kind of talking about it, and we have been talking about it for the last couple of days, and now we're seeing all the teams kind of click. They're kind of like, yeah, we got to do this if we want to win. Like, we don't want to be in that wild card round. There's 20 teams in that wild card. It's going to be really tough to get out of there. And it's nice that, you know, if you've made it to this round, the round of 36, you're guaranteed to keep playing next week on Friday. But you don't want to be in that wild card. That's 20 teams, and only 8 are getting out of there.
Yeah, it's really, really crunch time. So, you know, we're still starting to see the cream of the crop continue to rise. And I'm glad that, you know, we play more than just one round or one style or one perspective or one map, because it does give teams that have specific advantages chances to really show that. I think the biggest examples here were ROG Centurion. They really had an outstanding performance, better even than Cloud9, besting their rivals and showing that they can do that and also get a ton of kills along the way. It looks like they're kind of returning to form once they get back to their home turf.
Right. I want to see them build on that momentum. I want to see them come in, kill some teams, get like maybe 15, 16 kills, and possibly come out with a chicken dinner. They really played very well that time. They positioned themselves well. They took a position that was in about the 4th or 5th circle, 6th circle, and they had that compound to themselves, and they had C9 next to them, and then they decided to make that aggressive, bold move to take C9 out.
Still waiting on a couple of our members to enter the lobby, of course. So as soon as everyone is in and connected, we'll be moving into our final game tonight. It's been a fun day. I'm really excited for the round of 36, especially if all of the games are as good as the ones have been today.
I mean, outside of the finals, this is definitely what I was most excited about. Having these 3 groups, and they have to all play each other in a different time, right? A and B today, and then it's A and C on Friday, and then B and C on Monday. Math a little bit.
Round robins.
Round robins. Yeah, exactly.
One of these days we'll have a square robin. We never have bird-shaped robins. It's only the shapes.
Yeah, why is it a round robin?
Yeah. What if we just arrange the teams and, you know, play each other like that?
Why? Yeah, why? Are robins? Well, robins are kind of round.
They're
large
our
birds.
robin is triangle shaped because there are only 3 teams. You could draw a lot of different shapes through 3 points. I mean,
I don't know. Yeah, why are they called round robins? I mean, robins are round. They're larger
because
birds.
Teams play each other in a circle.
Right.
No matter how many.
But why robin? I get round. I don't get Robin.
Alliteration? I don't know. If you know the reason for that, then this is where we get to be interactive. You can tweet at RapidCasting or at PaperThin here and let us know. And then, of course, maybe we'll reveal that and give you a shout-out. Either way, that's where we are in the round-robin stage of the round of 36. And we'll be finishing things up with day number 1. Of course, day 2 and day 3 to follow as we go through the round part.
Yeah, the circular motion here.
Maybe it's because of the number of rounds.
What do you mean?
So we have round 1, round 2, round 3.
Okay.
So you play like rounds. Maybe that's.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. That's the best explanation I've heard so far.
I'm doing the best I can
You
on
got
short
it.
notice, right? Okay, so I think we do have all of our members into. No, we're missing 2.
Oh.
Come on, guys, get your act together. It's great to just be able to hang out here and talk about this. As a brief note, now that we have some downtime, I can mention this. So recently, there's been a big upgrade here at AfreecaTV, and we've started broadcasting a lot of our content in not 4K, but 8K. That's twice as many Ks. So if you enjoy your PUBG, but you really enjoy your PUBG in HD, but you really, really enjoy it in HD, you can get all the way up to 8K resolution by watching on play.afrieca.com, or I think it's AfreecaTV.com/APL. That's Africa PUBG League. That's APL ENHD. So APL ENHD. Type it in, and you can watch it in beautiful 8K, which is about 8 more Ks than I'm used to watching.
That's about.
If you have a phone, you
Yeah.
can just watch 8K resolution on your phone on the. I don't know if that works.
I don't
If you have
think
an
my
8K
phone's
phone,
good.
let
No.
me know what it is, and maybe I'll pick it up. But wherever you're watching it, you can watch in high definition. So check it out. You can see the individual hairs on the bullet fly across the world.
You can see every individual hair in my beard, and you can see which ones are starting to turn white.
Now you're just making people want to watch it in 240p.
Oh.
Maybe that's all you need. I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay. Does your phone? What is the resolution on your phone? Mine's like
it's just
really old.
1080p.
It's just 1080p.
I don't
even.
I don't know. Is there? I think there are 4K resolution screens.
Are there?
I don't think there are 8K resolution screens.
No, there's no way there's 8K yet. But I don't think for phones, are there any 4K? There must be.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
Like
I'm sure that's what Elon Musk's phone is. I think we are about ready to go. We're still missing a couple of our players, but as time passes, what is that? The what is it? Law of large numbers, eternal certainty. The more time we have, the closer it is that we're going to get our players into the game. So while we wait for them, we get a chance to talk about some of the games so far. What's been your favorite moment from today, PaperThin?
Ooh, my favorite moment from today. I really enjoyed watching Entis Ace go up and take that kind of crater on top of that mountain.
Oh, yeah.
And just snipe people down. That was really fun to see. To see not only them take that position and it being a very heady play, but also to see their accuracy from long distance was really impressive as well.
That's right. If we had giant prehistoric like pterodactyls, that would be where their nest would be, right on top of the mountain in the little crater. Fortunately, this is not like sudden time attack?
Time attack,
or was it
Time Crisis?
Time Crisis, yeah.
Ah, yeah.
That they would be there if it were Time Crisis. Unfortunately, this is in no way like Time Crisis at all.
No.
But it's a cool little crater to find. I love watching these pro teams play because they know in their heads, hey, this is exactly what our successful strategy looks like. So as they're heading into the circle, they're like, all right, this is exactly where we need to go. This is what it looks like. This is how we play it. And for me, it's just like, I wonder where they're going to go. Should they get in the good crater location? I don't know. And then they get in there, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that was the right play, right?
Yeah.
I'm learning so much watching this, and I'm sure you are, too. If you have any extra insights, you can feel free to tweet those at us as well. Be like, guys, they always go there. I'm like, oh, okay, well, now I know. The more we learn, right?
Maybe we haven't seen them do that in this tournament, and they haven't played much Miramar otherwise. We were kind of one of the first tournaments to start doing Miramar. So, especially in Korea, I don't think there had been any others yet. Previously, APL was all Erangel, as well as the PSS beta season was all Erangel. So I think we're kind of seeing teams kind of figure out their strategies and their landmarks and their locations that they like to go. And Entis Ace clearly has done their homework.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I felt kind of, I don't know, maybe sadistic pleasure watching Entis Ace as some of the stronger teams, or as one of the stronger teams, have the same struggles as teams that have placed lower down in that last game. They try their best to get in the middle of the circle. They kind of get wrecked a little bit by the circle, and then get even more wrecked by Shaco as they try to drive into it. Gets a little bit crazy there towards the end. We're about to get crazy as we jump into our final round of today. It's the first day of the round of 36. It's been a spicy one at that, and it's about to heat up a whole lot more as we get into round number 4, TPP on Arengol. Welcome, here we go, flying out on to Arengol for our final time today. It's been an exciting day, the APL. I hope this game will be no different.
Yeah, we've had some really exciting games. Detonator, they're not the flashiest team in terms of numbers of kills, but they get it done. They're very smart, they position well. We've seen them do quite well overall in this tournament. Obviously, they're in third right now, if you don't count Kless, which will probably be ahead of them, maybe, after day 2 of the round of 36. And here we go, we're loading the plane up.
Loading up, heading out. Let's see which direction this takes. That's actually decided quite a bit during today's games. It looks like we are going to start flying from the western side. So it's going to be a middle of the west to southeast plane, which really cuts off the upper half of the map.
Yeah, this is probably the first plane we've seen today that's really cut off the map like this. It's going to be really hard for teams like Entis Ace and C9 to get up to Yasnaya and Stalbert. Even still, for the ROG Centurions, it will be difficult for them to get to Lipovka. There's going to be a lot of people fighting for vehicles around Milta and kind of these other areas, but a nice drop for Lunatic High and Actors Indigo, who like to go to Georgia Pole.
Right, if this is like a Yasnaya finish, Armor are going to have a very long way to go if they go down to Primorsky usually.
Right, we're seeing pretty much the same thing we saw. Red Dot still controlling Sosnovka military base. Asterisk, they like Novo. Quadro, looks like they're going to try and maybe get some vehicles, is my guess. I don't expect them to stick around here, but they might. This is George, so yeah, it looks like they have vehicles, and we see Lunatic High on the hospital fighting with Enbridge. Aqua,
trying to keep an eye on these early kills. I believe that we're playing 2 players short for this round, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't believe we had any kills, at least from what I watched. Somaz and Sonic going head-to-head here.
Here's the Mongo.
He's
trying to
push block him. I think he might actually take damage if he gets run over. Either way, the hot pickup comes through. And Somaz is saved after all. Oh my god, how did he hit those shots? Beautiful. Boom. The Micro Uzi, incredibly powerful weapon early on. Gonna go for the grenade, cooks it a second.
Ooh, he missed that. He threw that just a little too far. I thought he might underhand that. In case you guys didn't know, you can actually throw grenades underhand by right-clicking after you've pulled the grenade out.
Sato coming forward for the res, but I think Zerazang is of course going to communicate to him, say, hey, look, bomb's up there. This is third person, so you do have that vantage point to work with.
Yeah, I don't know what
forward. Ooh. Are they perfect? No.
Bomb.
There's an angle there, right?
Yeah, it's not quite. He can't quite get the angle. There it is. Oh, he's got a mini.
Yeah, he does have a mini, so obviously that should be a superior gun here. But I think it's about the vantage point. All Bomb has to do right now is just delay a little bit. If he can find that tiny little angle.
Yeah, he's getting those angles. Sato's going to have a really tough time here to get Zerazang. He's going for it again, but here comes Bomb. Bomb can get a little bit out to his left there. or his right, I'm sorry. And yes, there we go.
More hit,
Sato,
go for the
he
res.
just gets it. But now they're in a really tough position. They're back to back. I don't know how they're going to get out of there. Oh, Sato.
Oh, he makes it.
Wow. Nice timing by Sato there.
But he doesn't have any heals, crucially enough, so he's going to have to loot for heals in the house.
Yeah, they're both still in a pretty difficult position.
Seriously, just can't move.
Yeah,
he's got, I think, bandages.
He's got some bandages, yeah.
This is poverty PUBG right there. It's like when you get 2 items and neither of them are heals. It's like, well, I guess I'm just going to have to try to chill around. Thankfully, it does look like Sato... Oh, no, I guess he hasn't actually been able to find heals yet. So they're just chilling for now. It should be noted that Ruizhang is actually about to come up from behind. He's running the long way in to help his co-mate,
right?
Or his co-teammate, his
co-teammate, sure. Teammate, just teammate. I think the co is kind of redundant.
His team co-mate there, trying to break up the steps. Will they be able to do it?
Oh!
Finds one. Will he find a second one? He actually kind of fluffed his shots there at the end and winds up going down.
Now he's got Pitbull trying to come in here. I don't know if Pitbull's going to get there in time. Bomb should be able to tell Pitbull that Ruizhang is trying to res Zerazang. Oh, he just gets it off in
How
time.
does that res finish at the last second? That is impeccable timing. Bomb is out of there, and I think, yeah, Pitbull kind of knew that as soon as he didn't get there in time for the res, the best case scenario is that he might be able to find some revenge kills.
Right. A nice play call there from the Nightwolves to get their other teammates back quicker. They beat Recon back to the location, and that allowed them to at least get 1 kill instead of maybe losing their entire squad.
It is still now a 2-on-1, so Nightwolves do have the theoretical advantage. Pitbull, I think, realizes that, is probably just going to peace out.
Yeah, Pitbull wisely is just going to try to run out of here, but he might get a few shots into him. Nah, looks like he'll be all right. Heading out.
Yeah, he's going to go off and be Mr. Worldwide somewhere else on Erangel. Speaking of the entire world, it should be noted about, looting locations. The circle did spawn on the on the eastern side, rather. Let me just say the opposite of what I mean. And right now we're getting a chance to look at Kongdu Red Dot, who, barring other teams kind of sharing their looting patterns, they get sole control.
Right. The difficulty with Sosnovka Island is that it's really tough to cross those bridges, and boats are also pretty difficult to take because boats take a long time. They're not very fast, and as we can see, yeah, Shaco not dropping Sosnovka this time. They've opted to do Severny now. But a lot of teams are kind of starting to stray away from using Sosnovka Island as their landmark because it's so hard to get back onto the main island.
Yeah, the 4 out of 5 for Shaco means that they did that every game of the round of 48, where they didn't have to deal with Kongdu Red Dot.
Yeah.
But as soon as they do, they change locations.
Right,
so that's
exactly.
essentially what that is illustrating.
Very good. Media Bridge Red. Neither of the Media Bridge teams have had a very good day today. They're both kind of down in that bottom, bottom 18, 19 positions for the day. So maybe one of them can. Ooh, a nice shot by Jugang.
Was that like a one-tap headshot?
That was a really sick headshot. I think it was an M16.
Woo. Very nice. WGS, team that had impeccable positioning in our previous game. Back at it again, right in the center of the circle. Max Till's Uri trying to push into their position, and Max Till is a team kind of very spread out, so kind of trickling in one by one. We'll see if they are punished.
Yeah, Freaka Freak's kind of out, not in the middle of nowhere, but not. They're kind of out just to the east of Potato Mountain there. They're just kind of hanging out, maybe looking to do a little gatekeeping as teams come by, but Asterisk is already done with Novo and into the middle of the circle, so a strong push by them. See if it pays off.
Scopeless SKSs. Feels bad. So for Giken and the rest of Detonator, they actually had a great spot in game 1, and then that looked super sick and everything. But then after that, they've kind of fallen off there. So while, if you can see the average ranking around Giken is way up. Oh man, sorry, I was a little bit traumatized. I had a point to make, but we're watching a bounce house. I can't even call
Bounce house.
Just say no. Anytime you come anywhere near that, if your team wants to get on a 3-wheeler, shoot the tires out. Stop them from doing it. It's like that old Michael Jordan commercial. It's like, stop it. Get some help.
Wow, I forgot about that commercial. That was a long time ago. Michael Jordan just used to be on TV all the time.
Yeah, I think that was a McDonald's commercial, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, it's a nice meme, and it totally applies to three-wheelers.
There you go.
So here's WGS. Great positioning, as always. Trying to keep an eye here on, I think that was OG and Entis Ace.
Yep.
Where have they found themselves here in the circle? 2
of them are in Yasnaya, and 2 of them are in a compound that's just to the south of Yasnaya. So they're a little split up right now, but maybe our desk just moved here on us a little bit.
Oh, boy.
That was a little scary.
Don't worry, crisis averted.
But they're a little split up right now, but I imagine once the 2 members that are in Yasnaya are done looting it, they'll meet up in that compound that's a little more centrally located. But here we see Max Till meeting, or I'm sorry, ROGM Maximus meeting Myth out in the open, and
wait, who came
4
on top
knocks
there? It's actually Kane.
Kane.
The sole surviving member on top of the mountain that will finish Myth off and make this a decisive Maximus win.
Another disaster for Myth here. They just can't seem to have luck on Erangel in third person. But they see Shaco too.
Yeah, he sees Shaco rolling up. And actually, where's the last surviving member of Myth?
Myth got split up there. The last surviving member of Myth is way over by prison. That's a good, like, almost kilometer away.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
The power of friendship will save you every time. You split up. Destined for failure.
But Shaco making Maximus pay for fighting Max Till out in the open there.
Oh, 805. The sick double kill. And I love what Shaco are doing here. They are the predators this game. It's not so much that they position well and then look for kills on other teams. It's that they look for teams that are in firefights against each other and then go capitalize. They're like the carrion masters. They're the vultures of PUBG this game.
Very good. I like that analogy. The vultures. I like that. They're very cool. They're very fun to watch. It's been a really fun story for us to follow here because they had such a big day on the first day. A little disappointing since then, but maybe they can get a chicken dinner here. We'll see.
We'll certainly catch up with them a little bit later, catching up with Cloud9 right there, as they have secured themselves a compound towards the northeast. Still pretty centrally located. Now, which teams are still outside? No surprise, it's Armor. So they looted Primorsk, which was about as far away from the circle as possible, and now they're finally trying to make their way in here. Quadro making their way into the more central location from Severny up north. Plane going over, and it looks like it is going to drop.
Ooh, to the east, the middle, kind of the middle part of the map. It's got a little bit of Lipovka, some of Yasnaya, kind of centered almost around Mansion there. Now, this is the circle that Centurions got when they won their chicken dinner. So Centurions really got to be happy with this, and they've got C9 in front of them. They might be looking to push on them.
And if I was Quadro, I would turn around for that crate. Instead, they are going to look to take the long road up and enter the final circle from the north, which you can't see on your screen right here.
This is why we took your driving privileges away.
Yeah, that's right. Just make a U-turn. I will turn this car around. Okay, so getting towards the center of the circle, WGS and Entis Ace. No surprise that they are the first 2 teams in the middle because they have been all day long.
Yeah, VZ getting a nice rip there on Sonic. I think it was Sonic.
I want to say yes, but I do not know.
Yep.
Here's Lunatic High, the winners from our last round. See if they can, make it that far again. Of course, consistency so rare a concept in PUBG. And I think Lunatic High trying to show it off a little bit. Following Entis Ace, one of our more consistent teams, way up there in the standings.
Yeah, Entis Ace made a nice move to take that facility early. That's one of the better facilities in the game, especially on this side of the map. You have a ton of vision from this facility. From that rooftop, you can see almost everything within about a kilometer of you, especially to the south. So this is a facility that I hear a lot of pros talk about being one of the best in Erangel.
Just have taken their spot inside of it. Ooh, finally Uri getting taken out. So Detonator finishes off.
Yeah, they're going to finish him.
They finished off Uri there, but I think Max still has a couple more members left. Myth is our first team eliminated, as you just saw right there pop up on your screen.
Oh, disappointing day for Myth. They started out so well getting that chicken dinner, and the last couple games have just not gone their way.
I think that means that they should be pretty guaranteed to move on as long as they don't have total tragedy. But ending last place here really kind of undoes so much of their success.
Well, they would drop down to the bottom half, almost to the bottom half between these two groups that are playing today, A and B. Now, a lot of this is going to depend on how it goes for them on Friday when they have to play, or I'm sorry, they play next week, next Monday, when they play, because they're Group B, when they play Group C. So they're in a precarious position to guaranteed to make it to the finals and not get relegated to that wild card game.
All right, well, let's bring it back in and keep an eye here on Armor. They were our team that was farthest out of the circle, and they're just now going to enter it. But in order to do that, they're going to have to run kind of the gauntlet down there. And so they've got Night Wolves waiting right in front of them to try to stop them from entering the circle from the southern side.
Yeah, and here we see Shaco. They've opted to move out of that hill with trees on it, kind of to the other side of it, to the east of it a little bit. And Kane's just kind of happy to just sit in there. Now, Temeria, he's just chilling. Looks like we've got maybe, I believe WGS might be thinking about moving in on Entis Ace there.
Here comes Armor, like I was exactly talking about. J. Edward lagging a little bit behind, but they do make it through the north side of Malta that the Night Wolves were guarding. So the big trip into the middle was a little bit scary. But now as they actually push in, they've got to worry about DPG. Danawa, they're actually in the compound just to their left.
Yeah, DPG might, yeah, they could probably see them a little bit from there. There's a pretty big hill in between where Armor and DPG is, but maybe if DPG heard a move in, yep, there we go. They just took a couple shots at each other.
Yeah, Kongdu Gillisuit are also right down there towards the southern side, so that's going to be a really cool engagement to watch. And oh, look, it's a prison circle, and that really kind of screws up guys like Actas, who were hoping it was a little bit northward. Enbridge is way caught off guard. They're still in Yasnaya. They're going to have to push all the way through basically everyone.
Yeah, Media Bridge Red and Kongdu Red Dot, and I think the Centurions really benefit from this circle.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Media Bridge Red were in prison during this. This is exactly what you're watching. They're on the high ground outside. You don't want to be inside the prison crater. That's,
right.
It might seem like it's a good idea because they have walls on all sides of you. Yeah, that's where you want your opponents to not be. So Media Bridge Red are going to have to try to keep everyone off their lawn.
Right, exactly. Detonator making a quick move. He'll go with the recon, letting him know it was safe to come up to that position. But now they're getting flanked from Kongdu Red Dot as well. This was a tough one for them. They might have been a little too eager here, trying to move up and take this prison position from Media Bridge Red, because now they've got Kongdu Red Dot on their behinds.
This is actually really sick to watch. Detonator are a man down, and they're trying to go 3-on-4 and take Media Bridge Red out. This is a play that you only make if you believe you are the better team. So I don't know if this is quite I don't know if this ambition is going to pay off, is what I'm trying to say.
They still got Geekin, so he's their best slayer. He's a monster. He's been an absolute monster, having the highest kill-to-death ratio per round in the tournament. So really like what we're seeing out of him. Here's Larm, trying to put some shots. Is that, yeah, that's Akihabara end count. They're still hanging around. They're doing good. They got 4 up.
This is the first we've really seen of them. Hey,
oh!
There's that VSS.
Do it, Larm. Get it, buddy.
The VSS never fails. There's a grenade out, and it misses Hyper, but should be enough for Edward to push forward. This is Kongdu Gillisuit. They were pushing up at the same time as Detonator were there as well, so keeping an eye on things. It's Actas, Quadro.
Under.
Yeah.
Can he do it again? He's only got the double barrel this time. He doesn't have the S12K.
I mean, he did it once, right? Now he's gonna have to do it 2 at a time.
Here comes some grenades. Oh no, Mad Cow changed his mind. Under, though, he's a monster with that shotgun. Actas, they got to be careful. Here they come. They're pushing up. Oh!
Lands one.
Nice
rip. Have to switch weapons because you can't reload the double barrel.
3 members.
Get one down. Get another down. Dude,
wow.
Is that 2 kills?
They got it. They wiped them. Wookiee and under.
Serious?
Wookiee and under. Get it done.
Quadro are the best defensive team that I've seen all tournament long. You cannot push compounds against them. Even if it had just been under, they set up this sick crossfire. I wanted to call it a crossfire there, but they crushed it. That's an entire squad wipe.
Wow. So fun to see them play inside of buildings. They're so good at that. Awesome.
Insanity. I love watching PUBG. That's why these moments are just so epic.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So an interesting rotation here from Akihabara end count. They're kind of moving back towards where ROG Centurions are. I'm kind of interested to see what they're thinking here, because are they trying to bait out the Centurions into fighting them?
Detonator really kind of need to figure what the point of their strategy is, kind of figure that out, because they started pressing into prison, onto M-Bridge, or Media Bridge Red, but then they started running back away and to try to fight Kongdu Red Dot as they pushed up. So there's this whole like nasty firefight, and it's the Africa Freaks Fatal right in the middle of everything.
Yeah, the Africa Freaks were trying to make a move to get into prison. They've kind of done it, but they lost, I think, 2 members on the way in. Oh, really unfortunate for Africa Freaks Fatal.
Yeah, that's Shaden going down right there, and Jason Rohua will finally make it into prison, but like I said, it's at the low side of prison, so very vulnerable to getting sniped down on from on high.
Oh! Everett!
He can't figure out where it's coming from. So, no, he doesn't get knocked. He just goes
I
prone.
thought he went prone. Wow, he still has some health left. But they knocked DDSG in the meantime.
That's right. The Centurion is starting to take a couple of hits that they may not be prepared for. Yaki back with the rest of the of N Count. Doing a good job just kind of playing it slow, keeping it 300 off to the side.
Right, they're going to have to try to find a time to get DDSG back up. But now here we're back with Kongdu Red Dot looking to fire on WGS Yeka. Oh, he's about to go down. He does not have enough time left.
I actually thought that was a knock, but no, he's actually still up. Kongdu Red Dot have done a very good job kind of rotating around. They did toilet bowled a little bit and found their way up the road, across the bridge from military base, and right into the center of the circle.
Yeah, a really nice position by them. They got second place in Game 2. They positioned themselves to maybe get at least another top 10, if not a top 5 finish here. I really like what I'm seeing out of them. Now, Quadro taking down ROGC. ROGC is getting sandwiched between Quadro and Akihabara N Count. This is disaster for them.
Both ROG teams are in the circle, but it's been a struggle for both of them. Maximus are right at the crossroads outside of Lipovka, but I think the real crossfire is happening by Kongdu Red Dot. Media Bridge, they're way off to the side, and actually I think about to go down there. Karyad gets knocked outside the circle. I think this might just be their final moments.
Yeah, Detonator's completely surrounded here. I liked kind of what they were thinking, and Ilgo had them thinking that that position was safe, but because they have to stay a little spread out, they had Kongdu Red Dot at their rear that was able to shoot at them. They had Media Bridge in front of them. Now we see Lunatic High pushing up on them as well. This is going to be tough for them. They're in a really tough spot.
Armor are used to being outside the circle, but they can't stay there any longer. They're going to have to push it through at DPG. They get one knock. They're pushing on to Hangil Dong. You can see that fight down towards the bottom. Cloud9 have a great advantage point, but they're also being beset by from 2 different directions.
Ooh, Ilgo could not quite land the shot, so that would have been big, but he gets knocked by time.
Ilgo does get knocked here, but he does have teammates around the side. Now, it's only Gikken left. All right, I take back what I just said. So Gikken against the world here. Lunatic High are the ones now pressing in. They're kind of doing to Detonator what Detonator did to Media Bridge Gaming Red earlier.
Yeah, Geekin's completely pinned here. There is not much he's going to be able to do unless he can just absolutely go just bonkers on Lunatic High here. He's not bad. He's getting some good shots.
Yeah, he sees time coming up, and so he will take him out. He's got to actually reload. Oh, can he land the headshots? He's going to have to pop up and down and up and down. It's very low health here on Conan, but it's too much there, and that is going to do it. Detonator is out of the tournament.
Yeah, he really made Lunatic High pay for that, though. They thought they had 4-on-1 on him. They should be able to take him down pretty easy, but a couple members of Lunatic High get taken down in some crossfire as well.
Should mention it's out of the round.
Yes.
Definitely not out of the tournament.
Yeah, sorry, yes, out of the round.
Wanted to clarify that here. Cloud9 have all 4 alive here as they press into what could be one of our final circles. Quadro making a big rotation in here. Kongdu Red Dot with their previously central location are trying to stop them from getting there. Curious actually separated in a great spot to try to mow them down, but Quadro do survive and make it into the center alive.
Yeah, really nice push by them. It's good to see them get in and
Vehicle explosion actually takes out Youngdal there, so they don't totally make it into the center unscathed.
Wow, Clocky doing some work there, taking down Quadro Nova. So Quadro didn't quite get in completely unscathed. I think it's just Wookiee and Under left for Quadro.
Half of our teams have been eliminated. Only 12 more remain here. So we enter our final 30 players. Nightwolf going down in 17th spot. We'll pop the rest of the standings up on your screen. But for now, Cloud9 down towards the bottom. west of your screen, southwest, I guess you would call that.
Oh,
Bonstar
catch.
Gaming Luna quietly coming up from the southeast side as well.
Yeah, Iceco taken down. Catch there. That's a big loss for C9. And Suck just got knocked. Bonstar Gaming Luna really putting the hurt on C9.
They really came out of nowhere. We haven't really talked about them at all this round, but very, very significant. Although I do think the main story is going to be OGN Entis Ace. They have found a great spot in the middle of the circle, and now that the circle has changed, they're on the outside. So they will need to reposition, but if any team is capable of doing that, it would be them.
Yeah, definitely. Nice to see a Media Bridge team making it pretty far here. Media Bridge Red, they're fighting Lunatic High now. Lunatic High managed to take out Detonator, so now Media Bridge Red is going to have to fight them to get into the circle.
Lunatic are actually outside the circle right there. Enemy, I believe, will just die here, and with his death, that's going to do it for Lunatic High.
Wow. Nice game by Media Bridge Red. They really needed a strong performance here. Both them and their sister team, MCN, have not done too hot.
I think Cloud9 just got wiped out.
Oh my gosh.
Bonstar Gaming Luna rotated on him and rotated them out of the round. So C9 get taken out there at the hands of Bond Spirit Gaming Luna, who will push into the circle. They're the only team along with Quadro to make it there.
And here Red Dot just moves up on Media Bridge and just makes them pay. 2 knocked. I think there's only one member of Media Bridge left.
That's right, it's Nalbin. He's prone down there below the circle. He might try to use Jugang as bait. Clocky running forward to try to get the kill. And nade explodes right next to him. Clocky will wipe that out, take out Jugang, but he still needs to
he doesn't know where Nalbin is.
Yeah, so Nalbin actually away from the grenade that was thrown right there. I think he's actually just trying to play this very carefully, recognizing that Kongdu Red Dot will back off and enter the circle.
He needs to heal. Here comes the circle.
No, he's actually, he can't heal in time, I don't think.
Yeah, he might die to the circle here. Oh, he just gets it off.
Barely gets it off, and so now he's going to be able to bandage and survive outside the circle, but not for much longer.
Yeah, here goes Entis Ace. They got to make their move now. Really, probably, maybe Kongdu Red Dot or Quadro might see them, but they're kind of moving up on the side of this hill here.
Oh, Quadro get the sick rip on Merrill as he tries to run in. Kongdu may have been a little bit unaware exactly what Quadro were... Kongdu might have been unaware what Quadro were setting up, but the real story, I think, is shifted from OGN Entis Ace as they try to get into the circle to Bond Spirit Gaming Luna, who came up, wiped out Cloud9, and have taken position all around the southern side of the circle.
Yeah, Bond Spirit Gaming Luna playing their game, getting kills, being aggressive. They said in their video that they're kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde team. They kind of seem passive at first, and then when they make their move, they're really aggressive, they're really accurate, they get a lot of kills. I love what I'm seeing out of them now, to try and get some of their, some of their chutzpah back. They're trying to fight a little harder.
Final 4 teams, 12 players left alive, and so some very strong teams indeed right here. Entis Ace trying to move in. They get wiped as they try to enter. It's only, I think,
Christus, he goes down.
Yeah, so that's it for OGN Entis Ace. They are out of there in 4th place. Now our final 3 teams. It is Quadro, it's Kongdu Red Dot, and Bond Spirit Gaming Luna. Quadro, they made that mad dash to the center of the circle, and there will be their final stand. The car explodes, and it'll take, I think, 2 with them. That's it. It actually wipes the entire squad. It's Bond Spirit Gaming Luna and Kongdu Red Dot as our final 2 teams.
What a grenade from Red Dot, but they got to reposition. Aqua putting some shots onto Curious. He throws the grenade. He's looking for another one. Curious, he's got to move. He gets knocked.
Wicked and Aqua trying to make the flanking play, and it's actually good enough to take Curious out. Clocky might be the next to fall. He's taking a lot of fire. Style running right up into the center, gets knocked. A beautiful concave here from Bond Spirit Gaming Luna, who are wiping the floor with Kongdu Red Dot.
Yeah, Clocky is looking for a flank, but he got caught by Wick 2D. He can't quite get over there. He's in a really tough position. I believe he's the only one left. The only one standing.
I believe he is here. Bond Spirit Gaming Luna just playing immaculate PUBG. And with that kill, the chicken dinner is theirs.
Wow, great game from Bond Spirit Gaming Luna. They were really patient there, and then they made their moves and just mowed through some teams. Awesome to see. They had 12 kills total. Very fun game.
Loved watching that every step of the way. Wicked. You see him spell his name Wick 2D, but 2 in Korean is E, so that's Wicked. And he was their top fragger. He's the guy that has the most individual kills in any single game with 20. He just killed it that game quite literally. it was insane to watch. And for Bonspirit Gaming Luna, I shouted them out as a team that I thought was really struggling. Their first 2 rounds were abysmal. But realistically, all you have to do is just pick one round and make it count, and that's what they did.
Yeah, they get their first chicken dinner. They've had success killing and slaying. They're one of our top slaying teams. But they haven't been able to always finish very well, so now maybe we're seeing them kind of figure it out. Maybe they're in their head, they're like, okay, we need to be a little more patient early on, and then we need to find teams unaware. We're good shooters. We're maybe the best shooters in the tournament. Let's take advantage of that and pick our moments when we can just wipe teams out quickly.
I'm going to have to go back and really analyze their thought process as they made that final rotation up towards the bottom of the circle, because you could see even Cloud9, who were maybe a little bit preoccupied at the southern side of the circle, they got completely run over by Bonspirit Gaming Luna, and that just doesn't happen to a team as good as Cloud9.
Right. And that's what makes it so impressive. We didn't even know much about Bonspirit Gaming Luna. We were so focused on all these fights with Detonator, Lunatic High, Media Bridge Red, C9 that was going on right around the prison there, and then all of a sudden they just show up out of nowhere and just mow through teams. Really fun to see.
I'm really happy that we got a chance to watch that sort of behind-the-scenes video with them earlier. Where we heard them talking about how not only kind of hot and cold their team to be, but I think the word they used was contradictory.
Yeah.
They say that in their strategy, or I think for them it was they had that really bad day number 1. So they're talking about they're in their gaming house. They're just really depressed because day 1 did not go their way. But still they're able to come back the next day and just really turn up the heat and have a great second day in round 2 of Group A.
Yeah, I kind of called them Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right? I don't know which is which in this case. I guess Dr. Jekyll is their passive team that doesn't do so hot, and Mr. Hyde is their team that just kind of goes nuts and smashes through doors and takes out other teams. And C9, no, you're out of the way. Kongdu Red Dot, get out of the way too. Just really fun to see.
Yeah, I remember the Hyde portion of. You ever seen the movie The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Oh man,
yeah, Hyde is super sick in there.
Oh,
so
man.
that's basically a great analogy for what Bonspirit Gaming Luna did here. If they are a Jekyll and Hyde team, this was their Hyde game.
Yeah, exactly. Really fun to see. A nice finish for Kongdu Red Dot. They positioned themselves well. They weren't too flashy or anything. I mean, I think if I saw correctly, they had like 8 kills in that round.
I think it was 8 or 9.
8 or 9, yeah, not bad. And really the big part for them was their positioning. 2 second places for them today, so they were clearly the better Kongdu team today.
That's true. For Red Dot, or for Ghillie Suit, rather, I felt like they had a lot of potential. They wound up being like the last surviving Kongdu team in, I think, round 2 it was. And then they kind of got run over there a little bit. So, yeah, Red Dot by far the team of the day. Let's go ahead and get into our final interview here. This is Lunatic High. Congratulations to them for another chicken dinner. This is Asran here to tell us what's their magic formula. So, how do you feel?
솔직히 소감까지는 없고 그냥 연습 때 저희가
I don't really have much to say here.
걱정 많이 했었는데
During our practice, we struggled a lot.
다 대회 체질인가 대회 때 잘해가지고 기분이 좋아요.
So that made us worry a lot.
부분이 가장 좀 답답하게 작용됐나요?
But today, we really improved our performance, which made us feel a lot better.
그냥
So what did you struggle with? We mostly struggled with our engagements. I tried to focus on improving my engagement a lot.
오늘 그럼 교전을
Because overall, our scrim results were not very good.
네, 아스란 선수 오늘 정말 잘해주셨는데 이 3라운드 뭐 전력 유지면 전력 유지.
So if you could pick one member who contributed the most today, besides yourself, who would it be?
위기의 순간이 딱히 없었던 걸로 저는 기억을 하는데 경기를 하면서 혹시 좀 위기의 순간을 느끼셨다면 어떤 순간이 있었을까요?
그 액토즈 팀이 그 저희 철탑 먹고 있을 때.
I didn't catch the who he signified there, but if you had to pick one moment that was your really big crisis moment,
그냥 푸시한다 콜 들려서.
How did you escape? He says.
뒤에서 멀리서 쪼고 있더라고요. 한 명이 차로 붙고.
So when we were being pushed by Actors,
멀리 있어가지고.
we
내가 쪼는 사람만 잡아준다는 식으로 해가지고 걔를.
We didn't really know how to react to that. So we kind of caught one of their members, and we had 2 members down.
오늘
but our
연습
shot
때잘 안 되던
caller
도전도
had
잘
a really good
풀렸고
decision
성적까지 좀 안심할 수
for
있는
us
성적을
to be able to
얻으셨는데
escape
자
from
이제
that
오늘 경기를
crisis.
통해서 가장 뜻깊은 수학은 아마 자신감이 아니실까 싶습니다.
I
아니신가요?
think
어떠신가요?
from today's games,
자신감을 늘 가지고 있었어요.
아 그런가요? 자
think
그러면 팬들에게도
you
그
guys,
자신감 계속 끝까지 유지하겠다고 한 말씀
it seemed like
부탁드립니다.
you were really confident.
네.
He says, "Yeah, I've always been confident." So finally, you have some words for your fans.
루나테아의 팬분들
He says, "You know, I'm not sure really how many fans we have, but Lunatic fans, we will keep working hard for you. So please keep supporting us continuously." So that is going to do it for our interview with Lunatic High. Now let's meet our winner from from Bond Spirit Gaming Luna. This is Wicked.
굉장히 뿌듯하실 것 같아요.
So you finally showed off what your team could do.
많이 침체돼 있었는데 3, 4라운드 좋게 풀려서 다행인 것 같아요.
Yeah, we were actually really quite down after round 2 because we hadn't really been able to play our game in the first 2 rounds.
초반에 좀 특히 미스 팀에게 좀 전력을 많이 잃으면서 시작했어요. 그때 좀 잘 안 풀린다는 느낌을
So it
받으셨을
seems
것
like in the
같은데
early
어떤 피드백을 좀
stages of the
주고받으셨나요? 그
game,
이후에.
1, 2라운드
you
끝나고
struggled a lot. What was it like?
되게 잘하시더라고요.
What was the conversation
그래서
like
이제
between your
3, 4라운드도
teammates?
미스팀이 저희 랜드마크인 로즈 호극을 들어오더라고요. 그래서 이제 저희는 멸망전만 안
So
걸리면
after the
충분히
second
잘할 수 있다고
round,
생각해서
Maxtel was actually doing
거짓 파밍을 했거든요.
very well,
그래서
and actually their
오히려
landing spot kind of
운영으로
overlapped
극복한 것
with
같아요.
us.
오히려
So
그 위기를 운영으로 극복하면서 4라운드에서 가장
we
멋진
tried
모습을
to
이렇게
loot a lot,
보여줄 수
and we tried to
있었던 것
really
같습니다.
hard to
사실
overcome
본스
them.
스피릿 게이밍 APL에서 좀 인상 깊은 모습을 많이는 못 보여줘서 이제야 좀 빛을 발하는 것 같은데 가장 오늘 잘 됐던 점 하나만 꼽아주신다면 어떤 점이 있을까요?
멸망전만 안 하면 진짜 저희 최상위권 팀이라고 생각하거든요.
So it seems like you were finally able to provide the performance from Bond Spirit that we expected. If you had to pick one moment, what would you pick?
일단 팬분들에게
He said,
1, 2라운드 성적
if we can get out of like those deathmatch situations, I think we're going to have very good results. So do you have one final word for your fans?
뭐 피하더라도
He says, I apologize to our fans for showing bad performances in the first 2 games, but I believe if you keep supporting us, we will keep working hard to show good games. That's going to do it for our interview with Wicked from Bond Spirit Gaming Luna. Of course, congratulations to them for their victory in round number 4, and to Lunatic High for taking round number 3. Very good day for both of those.
That was so fun. I just had a blast today. I mean, those were such good games. The first game started us off with that really intense final circle that there were still a lot of teams left. And actually, we saw this a lot today where a lot of teams were making it towards the end. Teams were doing a really good job of positioning themselves. But here, we have the final standings for today. Gyeongju Red Dot.
Yeah, even though they were not able to take down game number 3, they still placed very, very highly. And with their kill points just skyrocketing up, look at those kills, impeccable. They were slaying everyone today, and they do come out of the day in first place. OGN and Ace right below them, somewhat surprisingly, but Lunatic High making the big move there. They pick up their round win, and of course place very highly in the final round as well. And Bond Spirit Gaming, 50. They struggled so hard in the first 2 rounds, and then they just started killing it, especially with a win there in round number 4.
Right, WGS Arena not showing up too much on the kill board, but having a very solid day all around. The one bad game in round 2. Other than that, they were finishing top 10, top 5. Really nice to see from them. Quadro had a pretty good day, 16 kills. You do not want to push them as buildings, as we're finding out. C9, not the best day for them.
Oh yeah, they fall way down in the standings from being like first or second all the way down towards the bottom of the first half. Down here, I really feel like the story is Shaco. Were they good? Were they bad? And I think we got the answer there today. And at the end of all of our standings, these are our cumulative point totals through one round today, or through one round of the round of 36.
Right, these are our possible finalists. So these top 16 teams are the teams that could make it to the final. Kless, pretty much guaranteed to get in.
I love how Snake TC are just barely out of it, and they haven't even played yet. So they're probably going to do pretty well here. Akihabara end count had a couple of really good showings today, but they're still in our bottom half of the teams for this round of 36. And if you look down towards our lower placing teams, they have a lot of ground to make up over the course of our next 2 days of the round of 36. So we're actually going to have another interview to close things out here. This is an interview with our first place team, Kongdu Red Dot. You didn't have a chicken dinner today, Merrill, but you still come out in first place. You know, we didn't really expect that we were going to finish in first place, but I think that we still played pretty well overall and ranked very highly, and that helped us.
제가 경기 중간중간에 이렇게 선수들이 있는 곳을 보면 항상 쉬는 시간에 코치 감독진이 굉장히 좀
So from time to time, I could see that your head coaches had a lot of conversations with you to give you advice. What did they tell you? You know, we just tried to play as we practiced, but we missed a lot of very critical information. So our coaches communicated that important information to us. We got a lot of important information from them, and that helped us to perform, to rank so highly. Do you have any memorable moments from today's games? I think our third round was the most memorable.
계속 살아서 키를 되게 많이 먹어갖고 부상도 많았는데 좀 아쉽긴 했어요.
You know, we really didn't play as we had planned in the early stages, but we had a lot of kills.
오늘 4명의 멤버들 가장 잘해줬던
And so that made that memorable because we had a lot of kills. That made us feel good. So who would you pick as the MVP of your team?
오더는 좀 오늘 많이 못했는데 그냥 좀 샷이 잘 맞았어.
He says he always picks himself.
자, 오늘 이렇게 해서 굉장히 좋은 성적을 거두면서 하루를 마무리할
So your shot calling was really good? He says, no, my shot calling was pretty bad. It was pretty bad, but my aiming was really good. So do you have any words for your fans?
휴일 반납해서 애들이 연습하고 해서 오늘 이렇게 좋은 결과 낸 것 같아서 응원해주신 분들 정말 감사하고 앞으로
I think we are going to take this momentum as our turning point and are going to keep working very hard and revel in this moment. So keep supporting us, please. And of course, Cloud9, one of the Kongdu Red Dot, rather, one of our more ceremonial teams. Always great to see some big smiles on their faces. And of course, very well deserved for finishing round 1 of the round of 36 in first place.
Yeah, really impressive. I mean, these are some of the top teams that came through. So this isn't like the earlier round where maybe there's a few teams that aren't very good that you kind of don't have to worry about too much. Maybe a team from Japan or something. But they gave Centurions a little run for their money the other day.
They did.
But overall, they got to feel really good about themselves coming out first on a day like this when most of the top teams are here. You know, C9, Entis Ace, Detonator, all those kind of things. So really impressive to see from them.
So our next match is going to be groups A and C. So you're going to see half of the teams from day 1, along with the other half of the teams that you didn't get a chance to see. And those games will happen once again at the same exact time at 6 p.m. KST on Friday. So don't want to miss those games either. And of course, the round of 36 continues on Monday next week, and then we'll have the wild card matches on Friday of next week, and then the grand finals about a week after that. So that's going to do it for our broadcast today. I hope you enjoyed the round of 36. We'll be back for more round of 36 action on Friday at 6 p.m. KST. Don't miss it. We'll see you then.
Love the energy when you bring it up back. In girl, you peppering, you ever look hot. Every queen girl, you know, so you never yet flop. I know I see when me want for your attack. Me eye dep on she precise and exact. Good lord, girl, you going so hard. Girl, you like something best when I'm spreading it to a bar. Hey,
good lord, why you going so hard? Boy, I'm trying to be good, but you're making me be so bad.
Vamos
better start running. So you better start running. Yeah. So you better start running. So you better start. So you better start.
'Cause there's only one king right now.
Fickle my heart, triggered again.